Well, welcome back, me. Guess what happened? I was appealing to the whole world to call in to my Google Meet, my Ask an Atheist Anything Google Meet, and I had a fatal thermal shutdown of my PC. Now this occurs to people as well when they get older. They have a fatal thermal shutdown. Usually it's terminal. Luckily, the computer. Simon's here. Luckily, the computer was able to be resuscitated with some CPR and defibrillation. Hello, Simon. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm fine. It would have been, if only I'd managed to join the call seconds earlier, you would have heard the call to prayer, the first call to prayer of the day.
Where are you
It
again?
just finished as we connected.
Where are you again?
Istanbul.
Istanbul. Gee,
Istanbul.
aren't you scared? Aren't you nervous? The secret
No.
the secret Istanbul police can come for you any second.
No, they're already bugging our apartment, so they would have come by now.
Seriously? They're bugging your apartment? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
at all.
probably. Yeah, it's likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd say it was a definite.
Well, just make sure that you send me the address. I can send you a care package when they're going to take you away. Ha ha, hee hee, hoo hoo. Remember that song? Wasn't it that
Yeah,
that Australian guy?
yeah, I do.
Yeah. They're coming to take you away. Ha ha, hee hee, hoo hoo.
It's an old tune, right? It's kind of an old one.
It's an old one, unfortunately, the guy made it
Oh, not Rolf
famous
Harris, you're
is
talking
Rolf Harris. Exactly. And you know what his reputation is now.
Yeah. I was looking at my stylophone just the other day. All right.
Yeah.
Is he still in prison? I think he's going to die there, right? I don't think they released him.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't really care. Fuck him.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely fucking. It's sad that growing up as an English person in the 70s and 80s, that all of your cultural landscape as a child, like television and everything, is just completely soiled now by people like
I know.
Rolf
Yeah.
Harris and Jimmy Savile,
And some
because they were
Savile.
such a large presence in British entertainment.
I don't
Yeah.
get it though. I just
So
don't get it.
it's all ruined. You can't look back fondly on your kind of.
No, but I just don't understand.
Get in what sense?
I don't get how it happened. I mean, we're the safeguards in
Oh,
society.
because
We're the protections for children. The fuck is going on?
they came and they went. They've just vanished again.
The fuck is
crazy,
going on? I mean,
It's because
this is not just from the 70s. This is from going back, to the 1816. 070s.
oh yeah. Because
I mean,
yeah.
I was thinking about today.
Because I think institutions protect men.
Yeah, there is that for sure, and there's no doubt about it. But also, if you when I was reading back on, I think it was ancient Greek history, they had this
Mhm.
this culture of adult males and their boy, I don't know, they mentor these boys, and there's some kind of a sexual interaction that was between them, which was
Mhm.
which was
That's right.
culturally accepted. So I don't know how that is related
We
to.
call it grooming these days. But,
Yeah, I don't know how that is related to anything these days, because I'm not too sure what the mechanics of that old accepted tradition was, although it's obviously not acceptable today.
Yeah.
And it seems to
I
me
don't think it's
that the Catholics
no.
are full of
I
pushing
don't
that.
think,
You are?
yeah. Yeah.
Catholics
I mean,
what?
I don't think it was acceptable back then. Yeah, hello.
What about the
I think
Catholics?
yeah, I don't think it was acceptable. Well, you mentioned the Catholics, but I don't think
Ah,
I don't think it was acceptable back then either. I think it was only for a certain class. I don't think I think it's for the patrician class or whatever the Greek equivalent was. So it
yeah,
wasn't for all
yeah.
men
No, I
or
think
boys.
that today, I think
Just for
that
the elite.
today's problem is fairly, it's fairly contemporary. It's fairly recent. Um,
Mm.
because I know there was a
Mm.
time when you were 14 years old, you were subject to all the whatever the priests teach you and whatnot and so forth. There was a pope, and I don't know
Yeah.
his name. There was a pope at some point who said it's better to take the kids in at 7 rather than 14. And since they started taking them at 7 is when this pedophilia nonsense started arising. Somebody with better knowledge of
Yeah.
history than me could maybe make sense of it.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to
Institutional kind of pederasty is
Simon. I have to
go on.
I have to take my
Yes. Sorry.
boyfriend, my my dog's boyfriend. My dog's a female. My dog's boyfriend's a cat, and I have to take the cat home because the date is finished, and the home is just across the
Uh-huh.
corridor. So I'll just be like less than a minute, not even. I'll go to pick the cat up, take her there, open the door, put
Okay.
her in, close the door. So I'll be right back. All right. Would you like music, or
Okay. Do
did
we?
you want to?
Well,
Would you like to
I'll
preach the
regale
word?
the.
No, you can stay, or you can do what you
Uh,
like. But would you like to talk to
I'll
the
stay. Yeah,
crowd,
definitely.
or would you like to
Yes.
talk to the people en masse, or would you like
Well,
music?
how big?
How big one?
How many people are there?
Oh, there's 7 billion.
How many people do we have?
7 billion
7 billion.
potential,
Okay.
but
Well, I'll talk.
potentially 7 billion, but zero now. Well, there's 10 on playback, but who knows if they're still watching.
Okay. Well, let's uh, let's put Jimmy Smith back on.
Who's Jimmy Smith? Oh, the music, the tunes.
Yeah. Sounded a bit like Jimmy Smith, didn't it?
A
Yeah. Let's
lot
go
of
for
it.
music.
All
Yeah.
right,
Let's
sure.
have a tune. Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. Okay, let's see what we got. How about this one? Okay, I'm back. Simon, you still there? Calling Simon. Oh, I think I'm just lagging, that's all. At least I hope so. Oh, we're taking questions from the chat? Absolutely. Throw them. The chat is a great place for questions if nobody calls in. Oh, damn, Simon left. Too bad. Too bad, Simon. Come back. Or anybody, come on in. Check the description below for... Check the description below for the numbers to call internationally. Anybody who's got Google Chrome has Google Meet, and there's the code. Stick it in. Join in. But Cafe, taking questions from the chat? Oh yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I should make it quite clear that it's an Ask an Atheist anything, shouldn't I? Should put that somewhere. But the screen looks so cluttered with all these maps. Maybe I should take those off a bit. Yeah, let's take those out for now. I can always put them back later. Does this look better? I think so. What else could I do? Make some improvements. I could put this room up here a little bit, maybe. Like that. What do you think of this? Is this better? Like that? Yeah, okay. Maybe not. You have returned, sir.
I have. Sorry, I got booted
Yeah, I noticed that you were.
for some reason.
Yeah. You got booted for some reason.
No.
The whole computer shut down for some reason.
It's Turkish Secret Service having a go at you too.
Oh yeah. I was actually wondering. I've been listening to the podcast, the history of the Ottoman Empire.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Who's the presenter?
Oh God.
It's not Chris Grayling, is it, by any chance?
No.
Or Graydon?
No.
It's fascinating. It's
Hughes. I'm Terry Hughes or something like that. English dude.
Okay. Uh-huh.
No. It's not. It's not just one person. It's kind of a bunch of people.
Oh, okay.
But it's fascinating. I've been listening to it.
It certainly is.
Now, the one thing got me thinking about it is when the Ottoman Empire was formed, there was a migration of Muslims from like Russia and those places out of those countries and into the Ottoman Empire. That is very does anybody know about that in this world, and how many people were there? And I find that fascinating because the migration of the Muslims to Turkey and the migration, because basically almost forced out, and the migration of the North African and the Arab Gulf Jews to Israel in 1950s. There seems to be a parallel.
Yeah, yeah. So the Ottoman conquest took a really long time.
Yeah,
It took hundreds of years. It wasn't a sort of sweeping across the Great Plains like the Mongol hordes. So
I
it
know,
did take
but
a long time.
true. But once Turkey was formed, once the Ottoman Empire basically became a
It was
thing,
established.
yeah, and they wanted to
And
basically.
yeah, go on.
I'm going to let you
No,
talk because you know more about it than me.
no. Well, I think you might be. Are you referring to the Tatars that came from sort of Russia?
Everybody
Lots of
who's
people,
Muslim who went, even Jewish, even the Jews and Muslims, that they left outside of the Ottoman Empire, and they all sort of migrated, usually by coercion or whatnot, to the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, exactly. The Sephardics came from Spain. They were kicked out by the Catholics.
Right. Exactly. And also the Muslims were kicked out by the Catholics, right? In fact, Muslim-controlled Spain, Al-Andalus, was more friendly and more tolerant between religions and cultures than the Catholics who followed them.
Yeah, somewhat ironically, yeah.
Isn't that
true?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did apply. Yeah, it's nuanced, obviously. I mean, where everything is nuanced, but yes, I mean, conditions as a Jew in Ottoman Turkey were much better than if you were a Jew in Catholic Spain. I mean, if you're in Catholic Spain, you're a Jew, you'd be tortured to death, or you'd
be expelled.
And all this kind of stuff.
You're expelled.
Yeah.
If you're a Jew or a Muslim, you're expelled. If you're a Jew or a Muslim in Al-Andalus, you get along, you tolerate it, you do your business, and everybody leaves you alone.
Exactly.
So
but you are taxed heavily, though.
Fine, you're taxed heavily now. I live in Canada, man. You know. The Ottoman Empire of Canada. Fair enough.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, no, it's interesting. It is fascinating. Yeah, I mean, when the Ottomans expanded into southeastern Europe up through, I mean, they got as far as Vienna, but through Romania and Albania and the Balkans. You know, it was quite wide-reaching. It occupied quite a lot of what's now considered to be European territory. And you know, when obviously the Ottoman Empire fell in 1923, they all kind of came back to what is now modern-day Turkey, plus the huge population exchange, plus the genocide. So there's always been a very fluid, movement of people in this area. It's cliched,
but the Catholic persecution of the Jews and the Muslims and anybody who wasn't Catholic. I mean, unfortunately, the Catholics caused the bullshit that's happening in the Bible Belt in America. Directly because of the Catholics. It's just weird.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's layers upon layers of history in this city. I mean, I've been here for quite a long time, but I've still always discovered new things and learned new things about
there's
the
definitely
fabric of the city.
Yeah.
The Jewish history of the Ottoman Empire is fascinating. I have a friend who's he's a Jewish historian.
Yeah, that came up in the podcasts because I think Thessalonica was part of Turkey, was part of the Ottoman Empire at some point.
That's right. That's correct.
And then and then something happened, and no, Thessalonica had the oldest Jewish population.
That's right.
Or Jewish community in that region.
That's right. And they had a kind of guru called I can't remember his name now. They were called Dönme. The Turkish word is Dönme, and it's this guru's name was not Shabbat. I can't remember. He claimed to be the Messiah, and they followed him.
Didn't
there was an uprising, and then the Sultan said you either convert to kind of Islam or you're dead. So they all en masse converted to
Yeah.
to
Wasn't
Islam, and now they're called
Thessaloniki
Dönme.
wasn't Thessaloniki part of Turkey and it was taken over by
Yeah,
Greece?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So Thessaloniki is right. It's now right on the kind of Turkish-Greek border, but,
Mm,
a little bit further in than Vrama. But yeah, Greece was part of the Ottoman Empire up until the mid 19th
exactly.
century.
Yeah.
Obviously liberated by Byron, of course, single-handedly.
I don't know the history of that. Byron, never heard the word.
The poet Byron, who fought against the Ottomans
Oh, I don't know. I
on
don't
the
know.
Greek side. Yeah, yeah.
Poetry is
Whose
not
gammy leg
my
was
strong suit.
no,
Poets
not mine, but
and the history of poetry and anything to do with poetry is something I would love to acquire,
hmm
but I'm not there yet.
yeah,
Not at all.
definitely. But it is interesting. And so there's now a group of crypto Jews in Turkey, and they still exist. They're a bit less secret than they used to be, but they are essentially it's a sort of syncretic Jewish Islam. I
Hmm.
mean, Islam is a sect of Judaism anyway, and
Oh, for
it's
sure.
pretty obvious. But they
Yeah.
they do Seder and all this kind of stuff in secret, and they have these
Sure.
graveyards called, and they all got these secret kind of signs in their graves.
So they gotta
It's
have
fascinating.
secret. I mean, it's so absurd.
It is absurd, but when it's your life you're talking about, I suppose these things make
I mean, your
not
life
not
has to be
anymore.
so sort of shallow in order for that to be the most
Yeah,
important thing, or one of the most important things.
that's true. That's true. But if it's the difference, 100 years ago between prosperity and destitution, then if you're gonna
100 years ago, all bets are off. Today, I got something to say.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know.
Yeah.
So what's the
So
time?
and the time is 6:30 in the morning. I've been up since 5, so I'm an early riser.
Okay. What's your plan today?
Well, I'll take my boy to school and I'll go for a run. Then I'll start work.
How
And
long does it take you to get to work? Would you work from home?
I work from home. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So it takes
okay.
me 0 minutes. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
boy, there
playing.
you go.
I'm
Okay, I
sort
think
of
you've
staying
broken
office.
you've broken physics. Time is linear,
So we've got four.
and zero time from A to B is impossible.
Indeed, metaphorically speaking. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
that's good.
So how's your Turkish?
Yes, it's bad enough that my son just wails with laughter when I
Oh, I was
speak.
going to ask you, can you talk to your son in Turkish?
Yeah, he's bilingual. He's
Oh
fluent.
no, your son for
He was born.
sure.
He's
I have no doubts that your son can outtalk you
yeah.
in probably English
Oh,
even.
yeah, definitely,
How's
certainly.
his
Yeah.
how's he doing in English actually? Or does he go to American school?
No, he goes to a local Turkish school,
Oh,
state
okay.
school. So
How's he doing with his English then?
yeah.
Hmm?
Oh, he's completely bilingual. So I think English is his preferred language. We speak English at home.
Oh, that's good.
So
Was he born in Turkey?
but I think yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And almost all of the kids in his class speak at least one or two languages. It's just when you it's that kind of culture. A
Yeah.
lot of kids they're either foreign kids or they've got Greek parent or a Turkish parent or an Armenian parent
Got
or
it.
something like that. So
Got
and
it.
language is the difference between prosperity and it's knowing English, for example, is an opportunity rather than just a hobby.
Yeah.
So if you can speak English, you've got more economic opportunity in
Indeed,
industries like
indeed. Yeah.
tourism, or you can leave.
You can leave.
So well, I mean, there's a big brain drain. If you've got any money, you leave.
But if I don't get that. If you got the brains, then
Mhm.
you're obviously needed. There's a shortage of brains.
Yeah,
So why would you want to leave?
totally. Yeah, but if
Because
you've got no,
technically you can
because
make
there's
more
just
money.
more opportunity. Yeah, but it's a question of it's that kind of how do I put this sensitive? Cronyism is quite a problem. Corruption is a problem. You know,
We got a
politicization.
We've got a couple of questions in the side chat there. Let's see. I totally
Oh,
forgot about the side chat, and I apologize.
my
Apologies,
side
man.
chat crashed, so I can't.
Okay, well, basically, okay. There's Simon Person, Cafe, and Viva Hernando. Hey, Viva. Hey, Viva Hernando. I remember you in the side chat. Now, Cafe asked a question. Do you think that atheism is the result of rationalism, of a critically thinking mind, etc.? In other words, is it a natural conclusion of reality, or is it a position which is subject to change? Good question. Simon,
Mm,
you can have first crack.
okay. Do I think?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's more to the question. Is it a
Mm,
position
mm.
which is subject to change pending possible evidence? To sum it down, is it a fixed or provisional position? Good. There you go. That's a good question.
Oh, I'll take a stab at that. I
Go
mean,
ahead. Yeah.
obviously, well,
Yeah.
not obviously. If if somebody was to present to me evidence of a god,
Yeah.
you'd have to kind of look at that evidence and assess it. But what that evidence would be, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah, but
is it
is
a
it
fixed
part? Do you think
position?
it's? Do you think it's possible to actually bring evidence of a god? Is there a possibility that somebody would actually be able to, will bring evidence of a god, or can bring evidence of a god? Or is your mind open to that possibility, or
Yeah.
like me, do you discount it in totality, and say there's zero possibility
Hmm.
that there's that supernatural realm with this imaginary god sitting
Uh,
in it?
yeah. I mean, I think if I was to be in honest with myself, I think that it's possible, but I think it's extremely
How is it
unlikely.
possible? This is my question to you. How is it possible?
Yeah, That's a good. In the sense that I suppose with it hypothetically infinite universe, anything is possible. Is it
If
probable or
anything is
likely?
possible, then I'm scared. If it's possible that there's a supernatural dimension out there, then that scares the hell
Hmm.
out of me because I don't think it's possible at all. I think
That's fair
there's a
enough.
natural answer for everything, everything
Hmm.
without exception.
That's good. That's an interesting position. And you think it's just a question of time before we discover that answer?
Absolutely, yeah. My my
Hmm.
my. See how the Catholics and the Christians, they start with God exists, and then they 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 come to a conclusion for anything, starting with
Hmm.
God exists and then miracles or whatever. Right?
Hmm.
I start with not even God exists or God doesn't exist. The God is not possible. That's how I start. So
Ah,
it's not even part of the equation.
that's interesting.
That's where I
What leads
come.
you to think that it's not possible? What mechanism makes it impossible? I suppose.
Um, the supernatural realm, the supernatural dimension. You
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
look at the cosmos. Where would it
Yeah.
be?
Mm.
Number one.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, there is no evidence for it other than you being told by somebody else that this
Mm.
different dimension exists.
Mm.
And since I was 9 years old, it's been not troubling me, but I've known that oblivion is pretty much our destiny
Yeah.
as a human species, as a human being, even as an
Yeah.
individual. Oblivion is
Mm.
that's it. You die. Your body breaks down into its
Mm.
atoms, and they go on to
Mm.
form other things, and energy
Mm.
gets it gets energy and matter is interchangeable. And
Mm.
I have to uh, conclude that existence in the form of energy is eternal. It's impossible for there to be any other status other than physical existence.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
and therefore,
Katie's got a follow-up question. Sorry.
go ahead, read it out if you like.
No, I interrupted you.
No,
No, I was just I'm reading
I
on the
was,
side chat.
I was just stuttering.
I know that well. That's what I do. He says we're about to be offended by a follow-up question. Many atheists find the way I phrase this offensive. I find I'm very difficult to offend.
Oh, let's get
All right, okay,
offended.
so that's
Then I suppose a
let's see.
follow-up question to that would be, and many atheists find the way I phrase this offensive. The question has been asked of Matt Dillahunty many times over, and so I often caveat this question by asking, without parroting Matt Dillahunty, what would change your mind as an atheist? What evidence would you accept for the existence of God? In other words, without saying, I don't know what would convince me, but surely God should know. That whole shtick that Matt often spews when he's posed the question. I don't like Matt Dillahunty and his position on that. His brain in the vat position. I don't know whether I'm a brain in the vat. You know, that's a ridiculous proof to what. If you can bring evidence that I'm a brain in the vat, then I'll believe that I'm a brain in the vat. That is nonsense. To me, that's crap. So there's no evidence. I'm sorry?
It doesn't really matter one way or the other, does it?
No, it's a ridiculous argument position to take.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like I've heard lots of Christians say to him, if you were a brain in the vat, how do you know you're not a brain in the vat? Blah blah blah. And then Matt Dillahunty says, I don't know that I'm not a brain in the vat, but all the evidence that I can tell by points to me not being a brain in the vat. But show me evidence that I'm in a brain in the vat. But that's, to me, that's impossible. You cannot do that. The evidence of God is also impossible because God is impossible. God cannot exist. So to ask me what would be evidence for God would be the question. The answer is there is no God. There is no evidence. There cannot be evidence because there cannot be God.
That's good. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
we're not offended though. I don't feel offended.
I'm not offended, Cafe, not at all. In fact, I appreciate your question.
It's a good.
Yeah,
it's a good question.
It's a very good question, and I appreciate your participation as well. Thank you.
When you say you don't like Matt Dillahunty, just on that one issue alone, or in general on many
general,
issues?
In general, I think he's a pussy.
That's interesting. I'll take.
Oh, if you claim God is impossible, isn't that a claim which would require the burden of proof? How would you demonstrate that God is impossible? What do you mean? Okay, well, God is impossible, and what do you mean you don't accept that God is impossible? You have evidence that God exists? You can't. It's a lie. You see, that's where I come from. God cannot exist. If you tell me you have evidence that God does exist, then you're crazy.
Militant.
I'm not militant. I'm just a regular. I'm just a regular strong atheist.
I like it. It's good. It's refreshing.
Yeah, don't preach God nonsense because it's all folklore and mythology. That's where I come from. You know, there's in fact, I have axioms. I should post them up for the.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Oh,
as a theist, I don't accept God is impossible. Why are you a theist? I don't know. He can't talk back. You should join the chat.
Yeah, come and join the chat. Exactly, join the cat cafe, a chat cafe.
Yeah. Then we can be relayed over the chat here. Okay. I mean the side chat. You mean cafe?
No, join in the voice chat. Because what's the point of having a voice chat and then typing? I mean, you can ask questions, but we can't have a chat. We can't have a discourse, a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, what am I trying to?
We're just two old geezers, like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets, talking to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
With our big beards.
Yeah. Come on in. I want to change the screen a bit. There we go.
I'm going to pour myself another coffee.
You go ahead. I'm just going
Jump
to
start the day.
rearrange the screen. You jump starting your day?
I am. 10 gallons of coffee.
I'm still enjoying my Monday. My super nice Monday.
Oh yes, it's just Vancouver. I mean, what time is it there? It must be 10 at night, something like that.
It's 8:40 p.m.
Wow, oh, that's a long way away. Great city.
Yeah, I agree.
I detect an accent though that's not Vancouver.
No, I'm an immigrant. I'm a
You're
proud Canadian immigrant from South Africa. From South Africa.
Yeah, of course. Never been there. Is it worth going?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's okay if you got loads of money and you want to have a good time, like pretend you want to be a high-flying tourist. Great place to go. Don't move there unless you've got pots of money. And if you're just going to go there and live there for a job, absolutely out of the question. Don't do that. And again, unless it's like very 1% type lifestyle.
Right.
That was perfect.
No, never been.
No, a lot of people have.
It used to be quite cheap, didn't it? I mean, we are like two old geezers.
I think it's quite cheap now.
When did it? Okay. But to have a kind of nice lifestyle, you need to have a bit of of cabbage.
Yeah, it used to be very cheap for those who had like businesses and stuff, right? You actually know it used to be very fucking cheap. I remember when it used to be very cheap. No, it's difficult to say, because I remember then, most everybody I knew, their parents in that time they had their own businesses, or they were in the managerial status, whatever. They're doing okay. But I also remember people complaining, about the cost of living. These are people, on the lower rungs of the economic on the scale. People who really had nothing. Or how you live on some people live paycheck to paycheck. Paycheck to paycheck, and if they miss a paycheck, they're fucked. Well, I remember people living like that back in South Africa. And now I'm sure it's even worse. Anyway, let's get back here. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Oh, Simon got booted again. Okay, Cafe, why don't you come on in? Because if you come on in and we can start a discussion, maybe other people will find the balls that you guys have and come on in as well. But just remember, this is basically it's a new project for me.
Just got booted again. Sorry, now I'm back.
That's fine. You're back. You're in there twice. You haven't got booted out yet. Well, you haven't.
Oh, okay.
You haven't. There you go.
There we are. My beautiful face there.
So I was just explaining that this is a project. It's not just let's have a Google Meet tonight. This is going to be an ongoing project, hopefully daily.
Okay. Yeah, a regular slot. Is this going to be like a regular slot at 6 o'clock in the morning?
It'll be regular. Yeah, it'll be regular all the time. The thing is, the more people that join, right? Then the more people can either can still join when I'm not here. So the more people that join when I'm here, if I have to admit them in or anything, I don't have to do it twice. So let's say I've let 100 people in and I leave do something, and I leave the hangout open, then people can still converse and still.
Okay. You've got it live on.
Really good time.
Yeah. Well, Katie's not coming into this. It's very hard to have that type of discussion over the chat.
What did he say? Why he's not coming in?
Maybe he's trying.
Cryptomera's in. was in the side chat. Hi, Cryptomeria. Now, Hernando, Viva Hernando. I'll get to Cryptomeria in 1 second. But Viva Hernando had a question as well. He said, "I think Darth Milne is a performance artist. It's all an act." And I would have agreed with you if Darth Dawkins is a performance artist, then his art as Darth Dawkins would be separate. This cafe, his art as Darth Dawkins would be separate from his life as Gary Milne, and they are not. They're one and the same. So, yeah, you got. There's some merit to him being called a performance artist. Cafe, welcome.
How do you pronounce your name?
Hey, what's up, guys? Cafe or cafe, either is fine.
Nice. Nice to meet you.
I was close. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, pummel us with your skepticism.
Okay.
Of our skepticism.
I heard you say that you weren't really a big fan of like Matt Dillon. So yeah, I'm not really either.
Yeah.
I have called into the atheist experience, and I try to bring up research going up north, and it's usually what I try to redirect a lot of atheists attention to. This research happening with psilocybin. Maybe you've heard that term.
Mm-hmm.
Psilocybin is magic mushroom.
That's
Yes.
right.
And so up there, what they're doing is they're dosing people with a single high dose, which is contained in a pill. So they're not making people mushrooms. They actually will take this single pill, which is the equivalent of what Terence McKenna called a heroic dose. And
Right.
that's what they're giving to their volunteers. And
Okay.
what this research has been going on since '99 at Johns Hopkins, but it's building on earlier research that's been going on for that went on for a couple of decades back in when these things were legal.
Mhm.
And it's geared towards what William James called mystical experience. I don't know if you've heard that term, but in other words, it's not solely to do with just psychedelics. They kind of see this. There's an induced state that happens, and that it can happen in deep meditative states, and they speculate in near death, and so they from their reports of their volunteers, they can find no distinction between what they're reporting at the heights of this phenomenon, with mystics throughout the ages have reported in all of the various world's major religions. Such that what people call the direct vision of the Holy Spirit or the beatific vision of Christianity is essentially synonymous to what the Buddhists are talking about with nirvana, or the Hindus with the body. This is how they're kind of framing it, and so I called into the atheist experience. I try to get Matt to ask him if he's if he's familiar with the research and if he's taken psychedelics, and he kind of dismissed it all, and he compared what he called the Holy Spirit to, if you really hear him talking, like we watch the show, he'll compare it to like goosebumps, like the chills you get up your spine when you're listening to good music, or stuff like that, and, or good sex. He'll compare it to very natural stuff that we're all familiar with.
I didn't get chills up my spine when I listened to good sex.
Yeah, like that type of synesthesia, but I think what he's not seeing though is with these professionals, these neuroscientists up north in Maryland, who are comparing these so-called visions of the Holy Spirit to these high psychedelic experiences, at the high dose, not the recreational or quibbling doses, but specifically these high doses.
Higher than what one could consider to be a recreational dose, or less than that? More than a...
Yeah, more than that. Yeah, you're not going to be able to, because recreational doses, you want to be able to walk around. You want to enjoy the party, the concert, and on higher doses, you're pretty much immobilized. You're not going to be able to move much at all.
Cryptomeria, come on in. DB Cisco, Henry Hansen. You're all sitting there. Come on in.
I think the Johns Hopkins stuff is more about depression relief, though, isn't it? Rather than any kind of thing to do with mysticism,
Oh yeah, Johns
isn't
Hopkins
it?
is a medical. It's pure
Wait,
Yeah.
science
that's
based. Absolutely, at least as far as I know, anyway.
the relevance when it comes to legalization, of these substances. But
Mm-hmm.
it's to me no surprise that they have such therapeutic potential. Even in if you read Christian mysticism, it will say Peoria is necessary for one's mental and spiritual health. Like it was completely necessary. And so I think
Yeah.
to me it's clear that
Are you
you know
not put?
yeah, go
Are you
ahead.
not putting the cart before? I'm just wondering whether you're putting the cart before the horse, whether you're ascribing mystical powers to
Well,
this
if
stuff.
you do the research, you
Mm,
could look to the peer reviewed material. They will mention, that they do define these mystical experience in accordance with the perennial philosophy. I don't know if you ever heard that term, but it's a perspective on the world's major religions, which sees these these mystical visions and the highest
mm,
mystical visions as being synonymous in the world's religions, as all
mm,
religions in a way having a term that points to it.
mm, mm. But you still got a fair way to go to connect, psychedelic and non-psychedelic brain states with evidence for a higher power. Though I think I'm not entirely convinced that there's a narrow step between those two propositions. I'm
Well,
not sure.
I think there is studies. I don't know how deeply you've looked into this research, and it continues today.
Well, I've
A
done
lot.
my own casual research into psychedelic brain
Well,
states.
the not just psychedelic, but the mystical state. In deep meditation, they do find these similarities in fMRI maps.
Hmm.
They can stencil these
Hmm.
like right over each other. That there
Hmm.
is a
Hmm.
recognized
It's fair.
specific altered state that they could
Yeah.
uh,
Oh
constitute
yeah.
as what they deem as what they call a complete mystical experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, the brain is a mysterious organ, as I'm quite well aware. Yeah, no, I think this is definitely interesting stuff, and I think the therapeutic outcomes of this research, I think, could be very
Oh, one more
exciting.
detail, man, that I felt I forgot to mention is that they've had some atheists in the study, and they found that the majority of atheists could no longer identify with atheism after this event, and
Yeah.
it tallies with their track
Hmm.
for what they because these experiences do occur on a spectrum, and what they call the complete
Yeah.
experience is hit about in 70 per 80% of their volunteers on almost each one of
Yeah.
these studies.
Yeah, but you have to be careful about that. Do you know who Darren Brown is? He's a very famous
Familiar, yeah.
British. Yeah. So he does a fantastic routine where he takes a woman who's he carefully selected as an atheist, and he takes her into a church and just kind of talks to her, and she doesn't understand what's going on, and by the end of it she thinks she's had a mystical vision of Jesus, and is just in wailing tears, and he's just manipulated her with conversation. So I would be suspicious of anybody of the veracity, well, of the concreteness of people saying that they're no longer atheists after taking a psychedelic drug, when it's so easy to manipulate somebody into believing they've had a mystical
I've had
experience just by talking to them.
I don't believe that
Drugs that
mystical experiences are possible to start off with.
no, I
So
don't
I'd
either.
like to
But
know how I would react to one of these drugs. Or one of these, if somebody tries to take somebody so staunchly Gnostic about the impossibility of God, that I would like to see how I would respond.
yeah, it's worth a look.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, I'd like to be. I'd like to be
No,
part of the
yeah, definitely, yeah. But
experiment.
I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying, if you can talk somebody into having into having a vision, giving them some very extremely powerful brain chemical is a lot. It's like mainlining it really fast. if our grip on credulity is broken by just chat, then
I know, but if
drugs.
somebody's, I'd like to somebody who's as strong an atheist as I am
Yeah.
to have that test, to have that experience. Now, these people who are having these experience probably, if they say they're atheists, they're probably saying, well, it's possible that God exists, but blah, 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 very, very, very small chances. Those are the kind of people, I believe, who are most susceptible to having a vision or whatever under these drugs. I do not believe that I would have a vision of some mystical event, maybe something else, but nothing that's accepted accepted as spiritual.
Mm.
I don't believe.
I wanted to add real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking to an atheist. Her name is, I think, ex-Christian Erin,
I've
and
heard of her.
in the middle of the discussion, she brought up Darren Brown, very similar to how you brought him up, and she mentioned that example. And but I think, but I don't. I spoke to her, and she hadn't looked into the research at the time. I don't know if she did since then, but when I say the complete mystics, they do mean something very specific. And if you're talking
Mm.
about a vision that you're seeing, like you have a vision of something, you're definitely not talking about one of these experiences. It encompasses what in psychology is called an ego death. Your ordinary sense of self is completely gone. Even your ordinary sense of time. People unanimously who meet criteria for the complete mystical experience will describe it as a transcendence of space and time. That past and future collapse into the moment.
Mm.
Described in various ways amongst volunteers who meet this criteria. Another one is the collapse of the subject-object dichotomy. You have this impression that you're an entity and you're seeing an outwardly world that's out there and you're interacting with it. That boundary is completely dissolved in this experience.
Mm-hmm. But that can be induced by other brain other causes. You can make your brain do that in other ways, right? Without drugs, with like accidents or other kind of particular brain states can induce that.
Sure, I believe it happens in deep meditative states and near death. In some cases, seizures. Like I don't know if you've ever heard of Jobo Taylor. Um, she had this type of seizure that had induced this type of experience. I don't think it's exclusive to psychedelics at all. But
no. No, it's fascinating. The brain is a very fascinating very fascinating place to be. And when it goes wrong, it can go quite spectacularly wrong.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I guess I speak from influence. I had this experience when I was 23.
Okay.
That's the same kind of year. I think that Alex Gray. I don't know if you've heard of Alex Gray, the famous visionary painter. He did the artwork for like the two albums, Nirvana and Utero.
Okay.
Yeah, he did he does a lot of famous artwork. I think he did Beastie Boys. And he's known for having these taking these psychedelics and painting from that vision. But what initially launched him was an experience when he was 23. He also claimed atheism. I identified as atheist at that time, and so did he. And I kind of went into a very similar direction I went into. I agree with the perennial philosophy, and I think the research is reflecting that. I guess at the end of this, I don't want to expound on it too long. I think you can't really convince someone with words. Like the whole point of the experience, the ego death, or the non-dualism, and words were going to fall short. So I guess I can leave you some links afterwards and in the comment section or something, and y'all can judge for yourself.
That makes fascinating reading, but I would say, without implicating myself too deeply into something that might get me into trouble, I have conducted when I was a young person, extensive off-piste research into the effects of psychedelic drugs of one variety or another, and I can't say I ever even vaguely approached anything that could be considered to be a kind of mystical experience or any kind of sense of there being a godhead in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Were you? I mean, did you always stay away from like higher doses? Because I mentioned this term,
No,
and
no, no. Yeah, no.
when
I think
when
we were heading towards the kind of paralytic quantities.
yeah. Well, the thing is, I would often, do this. I never heard of the heroic dose until I heard of Terence McKenna, and
Yeah, I
so
know Terence McKenna.
yeah. I mean, so the whole point that he's talking about is not just near paralytic, but the whole point is completely paralyzed, because the reason why people get paralyzed is because you're not consciously there, in a sense. That's why they call it ego death. Your whole reality has been transformed. Um, reality as you know it, your ordinary sense of reality is 100% gone. But it's
Yeah, they
not like
introduced that with, yeah. I mean, experiments with kind of, DMT, produces that kind of that sort of brain state.
yeah,
I don't know.
it's
And nothing
because
actually.
they take off the YouTube videos really quick. Like if you see someone smoke 5-MeO, they'll fall back. They're not there. Like they have to have the shaman hold them down in some cases, because they might kick somewhere. It's a real quick experience. The DMT
Yeah.
it's less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But they're not there. Like they have to.
No.
That's why they have to put the padding everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not entirely convinced though that sort of inducing those brain states with an exterior chemical agent is really anything you can. I don't know. I'm trying to. What am I trying to say? You need a control, right? You need to be able to see somebody reaching those brain states without the presence of DMT. Well, the artificial levels of DMT, and we have it in our bodies naturally, right? So
supposedly
you'd
some
have
people
to.
could do this. I certainly I can't. I do try to meditate, but
Right.
I've never had it to the degree I've had it with psychedelics.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, it's psychedelic drugs
Nothing
are
is not
very
possible.
interesting. Sorry, what?
I don't think it's impossible though. I
No.
think because if you could, Alex Gray calls it the royal road, and if you could master that and hone that, then you don't need psychedelics.
No, but I still, again, I'm going to say again, I think you're a very long way away from positive proof of a God from this starting point.
Well, and I don't think it's like I was trying to necessarily like convince you like logically.
Sure. Oh, that's cool,
I think what happens with the experience is it kind of alters your perception, your interpretation, or your perspective on how you interpret God. And like I don't I mean to demean atheists. I don't like this is probably too simplistic. But they often have this mocking term "sky daddy," and I know that's not you know most of their idea of what God is. But I think Paul Tillich said something like, "The root of atheism is a naive interpretation of God," and whether it's the sky daddy or whatever else they may think, you know, what this experience did for me is I found an interpretation that seemed to transcend all that. That
Right.
those ideas that I was trying to conjure on my own.
Right. And what is you say you're a theist, but how would you bullet point your Godhead? Describe what that means, please, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, it's, even in the research, it says ineffable, but if you give the volunteer 14 months, they can say a little about it. And after years of mulling it over, man, it's still hard to describe like that experience. It's almost as though, there's everything is there, like all things. Or like I mentioned earlier, like past and future collapse into the moment. One metaphor that my friend likes to use, he borrowed from Einstein's block universe. I don't know if you've heard this term block universe, but it's Einstein thought of the universe as a block in the sense that all past and future are already complete. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have this impression that time is flowing, but
Mm-hmm.
according to Einstein, the whole block is already there. It's already complete, and it's almost like having that vantage point. And,
Yeah.
you're not an entity. You can't. There's nothing to do there because it's a state of consciousness. It
Mm.
just
Mm.
encompasses all things. So there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do because
Mm-hmm.
you're already in a sense everything. And
Yeah.
and so what happens is you come down from that experience. You
Mm.
return to the baseline of consciousness, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone seems to be describing that one thing. And
Okay. I mean, it still sounds a bit. I mean, it sounds a bit kind of nebulous. If you know what I mean.
well, I
If
think the only reason it may sound nebulous is the whole point to taking a huge bowl, huge dose of shrooms or something like that is to blast your fucking consciousness. Like not just trying to like barely quibble on the, like
yeah.
calm or something. You want to just blow it all up, like,
Yeah.
and do that. That this is what people describe.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I've having blasted my consciousness plenty of times. Again. I don't know. It's interesting. It certainly is interesting, and I think that kind of that kind of avenue of investigation doesn't really reveal much about whether or not there's a god. I think it just reveals more and more about the evolution of the human brain.
It,
And
it, that's one way to put it. So, uh, when I say blast your consciousness,
yeah.
the we're able to speak about it because we're not in that state of ego death. But I even
Mhm.
to this day, like if I ever try to approach it again, I would be scared as shit, man. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
easy to do something like that. Like to your mind's not going to be there for a couple hours.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's the fun part,
it,
right?
it's very when I first had this experience, you would have been laughing your ass off. I was on the floor thinking I was dying, like I was, you kind of literally psychologically die in this
Yeah.
experience,
So
and
it's that,
and it could
yeah,
be that scary.
yeah.
And
It's traumatic. It can
yeah,
be
it can be
the
very
bad
traumatic.
trip.
Even in the
Hmm.
in the research, man, some of the volunteers I kind of feel sorry for because about 30% have such a hellish experience, like a psychological hell, that they're scarred from the event. That
Mm.
some of them are seeking psychiatric help to this day from I think even the pilot study.
Mm. Mm.
It's not all
It-
rainbows and
yeah.
roses,
Yeah.
but
So I reckon I put a link in the side chat of the Darren Brown episode where he converts an atheist into a believer. It's worth a look. But I think it's definitely something worth investigating. But again, I think it's a bit of a cul-de-sac in terms of
yeah,
that's just
it
my
all
opinion. It's not my show, so
fair enough. And it might be my own fault too. I mean, it's I wish I was more interested in it because there is I think the reason why they consider God or divine is because
hmm
the divine attributes in the experience. There's a sense of the eternal, of the infinite. There's this
mm, mm,
unconditional love.
yeah,
Permeating all this reality that's inside this experience. There's a
mm,
omniscient sense, an intuitive
mm,
sense. Like you see, if you were some mind that encompassed or knew everything, there would be no reason for me to speak right now because you
mm.
would know everything I was going to say. Like, reality would be completely pointless
Yeah.
if you were, held it, if you truly held that type of admissions.
hmm
And
hmm
so yeah,
hmm
I mean, in a way, it's just when I came back from that having that, like realize, okay, oh, you kind of have a huge appreciation for ignorance that
hmm
I don't know what you're gonna say next,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
know, you come back kissing the ground, and
Yeah.
um, because it's not a state of mind you necessarily want to reside in, because it
hmm
would be akin to dying, that you would be
hmm
dead.
hmm hmm Exactly. Talking of dying, what was it like phoning into the atheist experience and talking to Lord Matt?
Well, I mean, it's funny because one of the first things they do to you when you call in is they ask you, "Are you an atheist or theist?" The screeners.
Hmm hmm
And I think the first time I called in, because I called in multiple times, and I said
hmm
neither, and it got past the screeners, but when it got to Matt, he's like, "It says here you're neither an atheist or theist, and that's not possible." and
Uh-huh.
so it went into a whole semantic argument. So I didn't ask my question the first time, but luckily the screener wrote it down, and he answered the question after he hung up on me. But that's pretty much
Okay.
ended every single time. I think I've spoke to Matt like 4 times, and he's always hung up on me. The last time I spoke to him was on 2019. I was the first caller for the first episode of 2019. It was even my birthday, so.
Happy birthday for then.
Yeah,
What a
and
strange
so he hung up on me
way to
again,
spend
but
your birthday.
it was cool. I really like. I thought I got to say what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm conflicted about. Anyway, I just don't want to speak ill of Matt Talanti. It's not really relevant. But yeah, I watched that show a lot. When I was a few years ago. I don't tend to watch it now. I find it a bit sort of tedious. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like watching the same episode of Neighbours or something. Yeah, fascinated though. Was he kind of abusive, or was he kind of quite cordial? Or I mean, he hung up on you, so one assumes he.
It was cordial for the fact that it was actually a long call. Like I think I took up like 20 minutes.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and he spent another like 15 ranting about the call. But in the first half he was cordial, and yeah, then he started to curse, and yeah, and it started to get loud, and he spitting back, and yeah, and then he hung up. But I think that because I told him, why don't you volunteer into the research? He was like, hey, jackass, didn't you hear? I already had this experience, and I really doubt Matt has had this experience. I didn't get to say it here, but maybe if you get a chance to look up in the research, they defined the complete mystical experience by 6 characteristics, which they kind of like sharpened and refined since William James. And so Matt let me list off 6 characteristics, and at the end of the show, after he hung up with me, he turned to Phil Session and he started listing them and started asking Phil, "Do you resonate with any of these?" And they couldn't identify with a single one, man. I think it just goes to show that none of the hosts on ACA have had something like this. I've been trying to get their attention to try it. Like I would love to see Matt try DMT or something like that.
That would be quite funny. I'd watch that video.
That would make a good episode.
It certainly would. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. They are who they are. I think what's more interesting about the atheist experience isn't watching it. It's just kind of the drama surrounding it. That seems to be more kind of engaging.
Yeah. I think that's what it's built on and glued upon, the community that they built there. Like that's what keeps it running. Like, I mean, it's just a bunch of atheists, no offense, donating to other atheists,
Yes, there is a sort of circularity to it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I guess I follow it real deeply.
Excuse me, but there's no difference between that and Christians donating to other Christians.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, yeah, and
that's also circularity, and it's way more prevalent amongst Christianity than it is in the very disparate atheist community.
That's very true.
Is more not that it's doing the same thing, but the parallel that you find in atheism that you find in religion. Like I don't know. I think that's what more people are trying to hint at.
You know what? To put it very simply, atheism is reality.
That's what I asked earlier in the chat. I don't know if you remember. Like I put, do you think it's the natural conclusion of reality, or do you think it's something that's provisional that could be altered?
Seems to be. Sorry, I'm going to let Sidney take over.
Oh no! You asked, is it the natural conclusion of reality that God that God is not part of reality? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But you wouldn't care to justify that.
Well, okay, I'll justify it again. There is no necessity for a creator. To briefly put my argument forward is that the existence which is measured by energy and matter, which is interchangeable, is eternal. It never had a beginning. It has no end. It's always been. There is because due to the quantum rules, there is no option for a position of non-existence. So existence is eternal. Energy, which is existence itself, is eternal. No beginning, no end. No, there is no place for anyone or for anyone's explanation to crowbar a god, a creator, into an eternal an argument for eternal reality, for eternal existence, for eternal energy. So I think my argument is very strong. Unless somebody can come back with a crowbar argument, I think my argument really stands a damn good chance of defeating any theist position. Are you a theist, Cafe?
I am a theist.
Okay.
But
Let's hear you. You asked me why. You asked me for my argument. Now, I'd like you to defeat it, please.
Well, I mean, my theism is, I don't know if you've ever heard the term panentheism.
Say it again. Say it again. Sorry.
Panentheism.
What theism?
Panentheism.
Pan.
PANENTHEISM.
Well, okay. God, so there is a God. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but
Okay.
it's not. No, like I think a lot of arguments for God are couched towards this kind of.
What's your argument for God?
Like I said, in this experience that I've been speaking about, mystical experience, it kind of gives you a different perception on what that term even means, and I interpret it in how mystics interpret it, the major religions.
I know, but you accept the possibility of a mystical experience.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I don't. I don't. I think it's all mythology. It's all like talking in tongues in church. It's all bull. It's all acting.
Well, I mean,
it's all what do they call Darth Dawkins? It's all performance art.
That's what they say of Matt Dillahunty. But glossolalia is another area where people believe that mystical experiences may occur.
Well, Matt Dillahunty has to be, to some extent, a performance artist, because doesn't he make his living doing this?
Yeah, and he's also a magician as a side act too.
Oh, is he? Oh, awesome! So yeah. that's got to be lucrative.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine how much, if I were, I mean, I'm obviously not a magician or anywhere nearly close, but if I had those skills, surely you could command a huge, relatively huge fee for a show or for an appearance. And there's all sorts of opportunities, birthdays and business and conferences and conventions and.
I think that's what he's more about, man. More so than the arguments and stuff. I think that's why you're probably not a fan, ultimately,
Mm-hmm. So I still don't understand this. I still don't understand your argument for God, because it's based on mysticism, which you kind of expect to happen based on the fact that you expect mysticism to happen. It's kind of circular.
Well, I mean, the way mystics will often speak of this aside, I quote Meister Eckhart pretty often when he says, "The knower and known are one. Simple people imagine that they should see God as though he stood there and they hear. This is not so. God and I, we are one in knowledge." Mysticism is more thought of as.
Yeah, but you're still presupposing God.
Well,
based on what do you presuppose God? Hello, Bill. Welcome.
Hello.
What I was going to say is that I don't think that there's necessarily a presupposition.
Hello, Bill.
There's a sense of emerging in this experience.
Say it again. A sense of merging.
Yeah, emerging.
Merging
like a
what?
year ago, like almost as of consciousness itself transforms into divine. But in the sense I was talking about earlier, this intuitive sense of being all things at once.
So it's a sense. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
if it's a
it's hard.
sense, it's not tangible in any way. It's just a sense. It's just a sense
Well,
in your own body. It's not a sense globally at the same time.
it's a sense tangible in the sense that it's a
But to you only, not to anyone else,
well,
and
no,
where it should
here's
be
how
tangible to everybody at the same time for it to make
that's what I'm trying
sense.
to say. That it's a phenomenon that's not exclusive to myself. You know, I think everyone has the potential for this,
It sounds like it's
and
exclusive to yourself because so far, hey Bill, how's your mystical experience? Simon,
Um,
you too?
I
well,
missed.
I mean, if you well, I think I have to stumble upon this because when I discovered transmech, I became interested. So I took, a heroic dose. But I don't know, most people, I don't think, stumble across it in their lives. And so they might go their entire life and maybe they might read it at near death because that's another place that's speculated to occur.
Yeah.
You know, but that's more my interpretation, and it comes solely from that, and it's something that's not easy to describe and transmit to someone, especially over this medium. That's why I think sometimes the only thing to really convince someone
What do
is
you mean over
that
this medium?
phenomenon itself.
What do you mean over this medium? When you're talking to somebody, you're using the same words.
Well, yeah, I know, but
When you're talking to
I
them
think
face to
sometimes,
face, you're using exactly
yeah,
the same words.
I think sometimes I don't know, face to face. Sometimes you get more. Uh, your meaning might come across a little bit better. I'm not too sure, but uh, it is hard to articulate something that
But I just want the spark for you. I don't need the whole story. I just want you, sure, Simon, no problem. I just want to understand how God
yeah, like
exists.
yeah. So I guess when someone has this, they have an experience of like kind of uh, almost like having all experience. Like we were every species to ever exist anywhere in any planet, and and so forth. And so when you return to, the baseline of consciousness, you kind of see reality itself as a facet or of consciousness that's acting through God. So as complex as it is, it's part and parcel of a totality that you see inside that experience. But but that's not present when you come back to the baseline. All you see is almost like a slice, almost like a three-dimensional slice through a fourth dimensional object. You know, that's the sense you get when you come down from it. And
Oh, okay,
I,
okay.
I
So can I delve a little bit so that
sure.
I understand better? Bill, let me see if I can bring Bill into the conversation. What do you think of this? Personally, I don't buy that this is all possible other than within your own personal sensual experience and imagination.
Everybody's observations are too sentient, how do you say anthropomorphic, centric, anthrocentric, sentient centric. We just put it that way. Okay. So you're constructing this whole idea about the actuality of what the universe is.
Anthropocentric, is that such a word?
Yeah, anthropocentric is when it's all about human being the center of things, or you attribute human attributes to everything you're talking about.
Oh, no,
Anthropomor-
no. I meant in
Anthropomorphization.
okay.
Anthrop. Okay, and I'm trying to mutate that into sentience
Yeah.
as it being your the sentience centered as far as your idea of what the actual universe is. That's why you have to have a sky daddy, running the whole show. Uh, but it's just too grandiose, and it's not accurate about what existence actually is. So
Yeah, but reality exists, right?
reality is a sentient model. Actuality is what exists. Actuality is the objective occurrences Okay, sentience is across the line of demarcation. It arises through sentient processes. It's a sentient construct. Sentience needs actuality, but actuality does not need sentience.
Let's try and make a table, okay, or even better, we'll try and make a flow chart. So
That's what I've been trying
at
to do. Yeah.
okay, so at the very, very, very top, you got to have reality.
No, sir. At the very bottom, fundamental. Darth's ultimate fundamental. Okay.
No, because
What is
everything will be a subset of reality. So you can't have it at the bottom. You got to have it at the top.
okay? I'm trying to pare down in response to the ultimate fundamental that he characterizes. And I mentioned this to you before about ultimate is one vector going up, fundamental is the other vector going down. So when we talk about the fundament of existence, we're talking about the singular characteristic.
But we're not talking about skydaddies, right? Just to be clear.
No, I'm not talking about skydaddies. As I said, this is what people do. It's what theists do. I'm talking about the fundament of existence. Okay, gosh darn it, the fundament of existence, the single characteristic that everything that exists has in common, no matter how diverse the particulars, no matter what impositions of possibilities or impossibilities or factual references to. This is the one singular, mundane, ubiquitous characteristic that everything that exists has in common. That's
You
the
sound
fun.
like a Darth, only like a secular version or something.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to.
I was gonna ask you to unravel all that for us at the end.
I will have him because he's on my bucket list, but I haven't gotten to him yet.
You'll have who?
Hey,
What?
Sidney,
What do you mean?
real quick, man, I just want to say thank you for inviting me, man. I do have to go. I have work early.
Well, no problem. Hey, you're welcome anytime.
I run this
Appreciate it.
cafe all the
Man, it was
time.
interesting.
In the chat groups there for Dilla hunting those guys. I've seen your name. I've even made you laugh a few times. So I hope I keep seeing you in those live chats. Cafe.
Oh, hell yeah, I'll be there, man. I love these type of discussions. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna keep this like as a regular thing. When I'm awake and not to go crazy, but I'll try and get 4 to 6 hours a day or night, whatever. Why not?
Yeah, I see Amy Newman doing pretty similar. Gurmania too. There's some other ones out there.
Yeah, they have channels. You mean, or they're not in the site?
Yeah, there's some other
they have
channels.
channels.
I posted. If you visit my channel, man, I linked to some of their channels. If you're interested,
Yeah.
and I'll subscribe, man. That'd be cool if you can subscribe to mine. You don't have to.
Yeah, no. If you give me links, I'll certainly will do that.
Cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put some links in the comment section for sure.
Okay, thanks a lot, and take care.
All right. Yeah, you see, man. Good night.
Okay, Bill, okay, untangle that for me.
Yeah, I was hoping I could talk to him more, but yeah. So I was talking about Darth. Darth is on my bucket list.
Ah, yes.
I haven't talked to him yet, but I will, and I will have him.
Tell me what you're going to tell Darth.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought actually what we need to do as a group of free thinkers, we need to organize and produce a champion, a Tyson Fury of atheism, and we need to train him. We need to do Darth drills, because Darth is a known quantity. His script is so solid and so repetitive, okay, that there has to be a way that we can train a champion to take him down.
We need to train a champion moderator to keep him from over talking. That's the problem. It's not the people who can take him down. Anybody can take him down who's half rational, but the bossiness, the anger that emanates from this character, the filibustering, the over talking, the loudness, it's just all noise coming from this man's
but we could karate him, though, you see, It's like Pine Creek was saying in one of his posts. He says, "How to handle Darth,
Yeah,
a
but then he leaves.
presuppositionist."
Then he leaves, and you got nothing to play with. Then you're a kitty cat without a mouse.
You agree with them all the way. You agree with them all the time. You don't, and you don't fall
Yeah,
into
but
his little
hold on.
trap.
No. If you start agreeing with him, and you know how he does. This is I've been listening to him just like you have been listening to for many years. Okay, basically, you start to agree with him, and there's one of a few questions he's going to start asking you. The first one: are you an atheist? What is
Yes.
it? Are
Let's
you an
do a
atheist?
Darth drill. Let's do a Darth drill. You be Darth and you drill me. I'll see how far I can get.
Okay, Bill.
Yeah.
How is it that God does not exist? How is it that you arrived at your atheism?
Well, the same God would not exist if you're talking about him as something that exists, the same way anything else that doesn't exist doesn't exist. And that's that he does not occur.
It's hard it's hard not to agree with you.
I know. He does not occur. Okay. And that is and you go right on using his terminology. And that is what is the fundamental, ultimate fundamental of all temporal affairs, of all the ultimate fundamental that all facts refer to, that instantiates all possibilities and impossibilities. It is
Okay,
the
so you agree that God is the necessary factor beyond all facts to be factual.
no, the ultimate fundamental is. Now, because I say I don't believe in God, and then he wants me to come up with a bunch of
But
things that fit his
Hey,
definition of God.
there's no he. I'm Darth.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm
Okay.
talking about the ultimate fundamental. I'm talking about the ultimate fundamental, which you characterize what God is that I don't believe in, that I should come up with a substitute for.
Yeah,
And
but you can't have a situation where there's no God. That's crazy. That's insane. That's the thing about you atheists. You scumbags. You're absolute disgusting. You're worse than pedophiles.
Well, that doesn't follow logically. Okay, when you talk,
Look, I have been debating. I'm a Christian, and I have been debating for 10 years.
Darth, your own logic will show, if you look at it accurately, your own logic will show you that it's impossible for God to be non-dependent.
So you at least agree that God exists.
The concept of a God exists, but no, what exists is actualities, that which occurs. And in order for
I'm sorry, that is incoherent.
that's incoherent. What is unclear about? I'm speaking in clear English words that everyone understands. What is incoherent about?
You're giving me a college lecture that I don't need. You know, I'm 60 years old. I don't need a college lecture from somebody who's probably half my age. Tell me something. Tell me something. How old are you? I asked you a question. How old are you? And don't overtalk me.
I just turned 65.
Well, then I'm surprised that somebody as mature as you is acting like a teenager.
Well,
You're acting like a teenager, a scumbag teenager is what you're acting like. And you wonder why I get angry.
Well, you're starting to sound like Sidney Winston, Darth.
Don't mention that name to me. He's a liar. He spreads slander and deceit and he don't if I catch anybody in this room contacting or even watching his channel and commenting in his side chats, I will put you on my ban for life list.
Well, I wouldn't want that to happen, sir, but that still doesn't impact the fact that in order for God to exist, he must occur. It's dependent upon occurring. Therefore, the logical realization of God as an actuality is absurd.
Do you agree that the Eiffel Tower is in Paris?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so the Eiffel Tower is in Paris. It's a fact, right? All facts derive from God. And the
No,
fact
facts.
there's the Eiffel
Sorry.
Tower. The Eiffel Tower is proof of God because it's a fact.
The Eiffel, it's a fact because it is an accurate description of that which is occurring. Facts are accurate descriptions of that which occurs.
Yes, but without God, there's just chaos. You can't make sense of anything. It's just incoherent.
No, that's the business of sentience. And we know sentience occurs. We know sentience occurs because we're having this conversation.
Okay. I just got confirmation that my dinner appointment is. I'm running late for my dinner appointment, so I really have to run.
Well, okay. Can I come by and visit your mom?
What are you talking
Till you get
about?
back?
I'm a very important person. I have dinner appointments. You know.
I found out you live in New Jersey.
Well, that's false.
Okay.
That's false.
Well, if he hangs up on me, go ahead and hang up on me, Garth. Garth Drac.
Okay. I'm taking off my Darth Dawkins hat now.
Yeah. I would consider having had him at that point, and that would satisfy my bucket list.
Yeah.
Because you can't hope for too much. You got to keep your expectations
Okay.
realistic.
Here's our challenge, Bill. You and me.
Yeah.
We're gonna create an atheist out of Darth Dawkins. No, not so much out of Darth Dawkins, because Darth Dawkins is a character, but out of the man that plays Darth Dawkins, we're gonna create an atheist out of him.
We could create an avatar named Gary Milne, but he would never let you talk to him that way, so that wouldn't work. If your screen name was Gary Milne.
Okay, so we're gonna create an atheist out of Gary Milne.
Okay, we're gonna try.
Listen. The thing about the name Gary Milne, and the character Darth Dawkins, is there would be no connection between the two if Darth Dawkins himself didn't make the connection between the two so personal, and the when he actually goes on record as defending the slander and the libel and the lies and the deceit and the this and the that that's directed towards Gary Milne, Darth Dawkins, the character, gets upset. So it just makes me wonder.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder.
Well, I'm not going to engage in perpetual wonder. I think it's quite self-evident and obvious. That's not a route to take if you want to have a conversation with him. I'm trying to figure out.
Have you ever, honestly, in the 10 years that he's been doing this, as he brags, have you ever actually heard him have a conversation?
I've listened to him for about a year, and yeah, some people have gotten pretty far.
No, but okay, like it's like
really.
one of those impossible to complete obstacle courses. You never quite make it. It's not what I'm talking about. I mean a conversation where two sides present arguments contrary and pro and this and that, but respectfully.
Yeah, well, that's not what he's there for.
A conversation is respectful. Have you ever heard Darth Dawkins have a respectful conversation?
No, that's not his shtick. No, that's like even Don Rickles once in a while gets on there, gets up and he acts respectful and humble and humane and stuff. Even Don Rickles, but not Darth Rickles.
Exactly.
Every atheist is a hockey puck. So.
Yeah, no, he hates atheists. He hates rationalists.
He hates the idea.
I don't even think it's atheists. It's rationalists. But he's.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm still going to try to get into Spatchcock's ear and even Matt Dillahunty and see if we can have a top secret cabal of champion trainers.
I'll tell you what. You get Matt Dillahunty, and who's the other guy?
Spatchcock,
Oh, a Jefferson Spatchcock. You get him to,
and Tom Rabbit,
and
and all the
get them all to come in here, and we can have a brain. What do they call them?
a brain trust.
Yeah,
Br-
we can have a brain trust. I'll call it a brain trust. We'll have a meeting.
Meeting of minds.
A meeting of the minds.
Yeah, we could try to raise something like
Yeah.
that. I haven't really insinuated myself into the scene enough yet to have the kind of creds to do that. But,
Well, I don't think I have
I'll work
either.
on it.
But what if you see what Jefferson Spatchcock works?
Yeah.
He pretty much takes, from what I've been seeing lately, he's been taking Tom Rabbit and doing very good dissections of the Tom Rabbit content.
Right, and he has nice open forums with other people,
Yeah.
and you get who's he got in there? Darth Adrian or somebody was her name?
Darth Arias or
Darth Arias gets in there. And
Arian or something. I'm not
he's
sure.
got a couple other ones. People that show up a lot. Skylar Fiction shows up, and maybe you can get a T jump in there. He's got some spare time, but it would not be a public. It would not be a public session. It would be a private thing. So nothing would go out. No video of it would go out. So it's a trust thing. But yeah, I could try some emails or something and see.
So let me ask you about this Darth Dawkins. There's something that other people have wondered about him as well. Why is it that Darth Dawkins, a preaching fundamentalist Christian who you're supposed to trust that the word he is preaching to you is absolutely 100% correct, why does he hide his real persona? Aren't preachers like, look at Jim Barber? He's a preacher. He goes as Mr. Batman, but he's totally open about who he is and where he lives and his website and everything else. Why is Darth Dawkins preaching but hiding at the same time?
He knows that his manner is so freaking abrasive that he'll get stalked and retaliated in real life. It's fear.
Because he's so so you think it's these just his disrespect for other human beings no matter what?
Yeah,
Because he's
maybe
down. I'm
he
sorry.
believes in karma. He believes in karma, so he's hiding. He's hiding from the karma, social karma. And there are unstable people on the internets. Boy, some of the people that throw stuff into those live chats, some of the stuff they say, and this Exanon and just the fucking violent, a lot of it's because of religion, but the violent mentalities, people are actually willing to die or go to war over insulting, imaginary mythological entities. It's and preaching love. Beware of a Christian. Christians will kill your ass. As will Muslims.
There's a great philosopher who will be remembered for probably thousands and thousands of years for one statement that he made. He made one statement. He said, "Religion poisons everything." The man's name was Christopher Hitchens. You're quite right.
Yeah.
And he is quite right.
Yeah. Well, his debate videos are priceless. Even when he's not sober, they're still, most of them are really good. Another good one, just for balancing your outlook on reality, is Carl Sagan.
Yep.
That's one of the few book series I've read with Sagan's. I read quite a few of his books, from The Dragons of Eden, Broke His Brain. There's one called Comet. It's awesome.
I read the one, Pale Blue Dot. It was
Pale Blue Dot.
Oh.
Well, my Bible is a Demon Haunted World that came out right before Pale Blue Dot, but that is a handbook of almost biblical dimension of skeptical thinking, and the proper context of wonderment and awe about whatever it is that we're involved in.
Yeah.
So he was really good at that stuff. So, yeah, but the whole thing with Dark Dog is it's an internet thrill. It's a thrill ride, you know. People go there to get upset.
But he's hurting other people. This is what I don't understand. Number one, the fact that he's okay. Number one, there's two sides here. There's number one, there's the fact that Darth is hurting other people, and then the other side is the fact that other people are allowing themselves to be hurt by Darth Dawkins.
That's the history of mankind.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Why can't we all just get along?
But it's a pity that he's down to young adults and teenagers, because
Yes.
that's, I mean, and mostly they all troll him, except for the small little sort of the disciples, especially Antonio.
Tangela?
No, and Antonio. Have you heard
No, I don't
Brojo, or what does he call himself now? Tonlock, or
Okay, I heard that name.
or
Yeah.
or 35-year-old virgin, or he's got a different name now. I can't remember. But anyway, that guy, and Antonio Fletcher.
Oh, you just doxed him. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah.
Send him a shit in the mail. No.
There you go. So he has developed into the front runner of the Darth Dawkins sycophants. I noticed this the other day when on one of the videos I was watching, where Darth Dawkins had a previous engagement, and he had to leave. So he left Brojo, or Antonio, whatever, in charge.
Right.
And while Darth Dawkins was gone for a few minutes, I don't know, maybe 5 or even 10 minutes, I can't remember, this guy Antonio became Darth Dawkins, you know, like a double, Darth Dawkins double.
And he didn't crash and burn?
No,
Maintain
he was, you know, he just treated everybody the same way Darth Dawkins treats everybody.
Okay.
I didn't ask you that. Answer the question. Do you believe in Plato, or do you not believe in Plato? Just tell me yes or no. Or, you know, or do you believe in Socrates, or do you not believe what Socrates? Do you believe what Socrates said, or do you not believe what Socrates said? I'm asking you that, and tell me now, and don't overtalk me. You know that he just went full on Darth. It's pretty funny.
Well, you got your parakeet. He's pretty pathetic. And you got your J. Robin.
Oh yeah, he's maybe second or third or fourth, somewhere around there.
Yeah. He's been getting into the atheist experience and skeptic generation. He's been getting in there. And that, as a matter of fact, Vi from Skeptic Generation has told him to fuck off the last time he called.
I gotta catch up on them, man, because
Yeah.
I have not watched any of their shows.
Well, it's just like the other guy earlier was saying. It's Matt Dillahunty. He's still pretty good, but the other shows are getting kind of tedious.
Oh, I just want to watch those shows where people I know call in, like you just mentioned.
Well, there's a clip on there right now. It's you can see it on YouTube, and Vi is flipping double birds at the camera.
Oh, is that okay? What do you know? What on
That's on Skeptic Generation.
Okay, good. Because they haven't got. I think they got maybe 20 or so episodes, right?
I'm sorry, you went robotic there for a second.
Oh, sorry. Am I okay now?
Yep.
They have about 20 or so episodes, I believe.
Yeah, they're putting it together as they go along.
Yeah.
You know, they had to start from scratch again. I don't know what that whole story
Well,
was.
yeah, I'd love to know what happened. Because it seems a lot of people leave the ACA for some reason or another.
They come and they go. Well, there's an agenda going on there somewhere.
Is it a political organization, do you think?
Let me see. The AXP is not. That's why he has the line, because the line is not, so he can get political.
Okay, so who's the big shot, the big cheese at AXP?
I don't know. Matt's one of them, but
Matt,
they have a board. I'm sure they have a board.
So yeah, I'd love to know.
Well, I don't think it's hidden. You just have to sharpen up them Google skills and.
Nah, I just want somebody to sit and tell me.
Yeah, that's
Read
what I
me
wanna
a
read someone.
story, Daddy.
Maybe it's in
Mommy.
Wikipedia. Maybe just Google AXP Board of Directors in Wikipedia and it'll come up. Yeah. Well, my problem is, and you called me a misogynist the other day because I called my white cat, a bitch, a little bitch.
No, it
But-
wasn't that. It was something. It was that. It was like, you know, when you're a soccer referee, you hand out yellow cards for certain things, but there's certain things where you don't hand out a yellow card. But if the infraction is repeated 2 or 3 or 4 times, time for a yellow card. So
Yeah.
what you did, was what you just mentioned was just one of the infractions.
I've had cats all my life, and
I
my
wasn't talking
mom.
about cats. I was talking
I
about
know, but
women.
I'm just telling you. My mom used to call her cats the little bitch. So it's an affectionate term for me as far as cats go. But
Yeah,
also,
but some cats
yeah,
are actually male, believe it or not.
yeah. But that white one wasn't. But anyhow,
Okay.
she's hard. She's high maintenance. Is high maintenance an unwoke term? Calling a female high maintenance?
Well, it's not. It's not. It's people that are high maintenance.
Right.
But you don't want to. You don't want to associate high maintenance only to females because it's not correct.
No, but it's a certain set of high maintenance issues that are
No,
involved when you're talking about a female.
I think in every single, I think males are just as high maintenance as females, if not more. But the high maintenance trope is directed at females, and I think that's unfair.
Yes, I agree with that as well. Except also, I just don't have much interest in the LGBTQ stuff. I really don't have that much investment in abortion because I'm never going to have to make the decision. But I respect the people's rights to choose for themselves. And I feel the same way about LGBTQ stuff. But to watch hours of it and hear personal testimonies about it, I sort of think that your sexuality is private, but that's just because I'm a prude, and that's just from inculcation. But it's just I lose interest in it. I'm saying it should stop, but that's one of the reasons I'm growing a little tired of the other shows, because it's all trans and stuff like that that I'm not really that interested in. I've done theater all my life and music, and I've run in all sorts and worked well with them and understand what they're coming from. But it doesn't fill my waking hours with curiosity that I need fulfilled. So that's my statement. Hope that gets me off the misogynist hook.
Oh, absolutely. No, you are now absolved,
Okay.
but you have to do 3 tips to Sidney Winston's PayPal to be absolutely let off the hook. So DB Cisco just wrote in the side chat, I like Joseph Campbell, Dominique Crosson, and the late Bishop Spong. They understand that it is mythology in the proper meaning of the word. I hope there's more coming because I have no idea who these people are. Do you?
No, are people listening to us right now? And there's a side chat going on?
There's a side chat going on. Well, a message was just posted like within the last minute.
Okay, somebody's out there somewhere.
Yeah, there's 5 viewers. Thank you very much, everybody, for viewing. Or I commiserate with you, everybody, that you got nothing better to do.
I was rooting for you in another chat the other day. It was either the line or one of those. I said, check out Sidney Winston.
On the line, who's the line?
The line is Jimmy Snow.
Yes,
That's the one.
yes.
And Dillahunty's Hang Up. I was probably watching the Hang Up with Dillahunty.
Oh,
Because that's where you can really get down with people politically and stuff and insulting. And
yeah.
he expects people to cuss him out and hang up. That's one of the options.
I presented a Jimmy Snow. I did a reaction to a Jimmy Snow video the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was part of a few videos, but one of them was Jimmy Snow, and I credited it. I think it was something about Darth Elkins.
Well, I can't think of the word now.
I can't remember.
but just that describes you. You're no. Who's the person that puts out a lot of output? It starts with P. It's pro something. Proliferous.
Prolific, prodigious.
Yes, you're prolific. You are a prolific content provider. You put out all that content. And
You're talking about those history in the Bible, etc.
yeah, they're every day. They're on my
Well,
YouTube suggestions
well,
because I'm subscribed. I'm subscribed to you.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate
Of
it.
course.
So my the deal there is I love history and I differentiate history from mythology, and all the scriptural stuff is all mythology and
I was talking
theology.
to you. Yeah, we were talking about Constantine. I was asking you about Constantine the other day.
Right.
And there was, lo and behold, there in my suggestions was a documentary on Constantine. So that's kind of suspicious. But
No,
anyway,
that's not suspicious. That's quite obvious. YouTube is listening.
they're listening. They're not. Yeah,
Absolutely,
that's not something
they're
I
listening.
typed or anything. They're listening.
Yes,
Jesus, criminy.
yes. Well,
So
you know
it's
what?
a
That's
good one.
okay, because then you got a good suggestion.
Yes, it was great. It was talking about Mithras, the religion.
Mithras?
Yeah, it was about how Constantine wasn't actually a Christian. Wasn't actually Christian. He combined Apollo and Mithras into to Jesus Christ when he came out. When he established himself, there's some battle for a bridge or something, and he defeated Maximus or something. Maximus.
Milvian Bridge.
Yeah, so that whole thing, and supposedly that's where
Constantine, the Battle of Milvian Bridge was the decider whether Constantine won. Out of all the people, the generals who were battling at the time, he happened to win. And the story about the Battle of Milvian Bridge was the battle where he was supposedly saw some kind of a vision of the cross, and he got all his soldiers to type the Chiron whatever on the shields, and they won the war and they won the battle, and so Jesus or whatever is the one that helped him win the battle.
Yes.
And yeah, so if he had lost the battle, then this whole Christianity thing would not be a thing at all.
Well, in this documentary, that's where he established his cities of Constantine. But in Rome, they also constructed an Arch of Constantine commemorating his victory, and it's walled off or it's gated off. You can't get close to it in order to protect it. But they let this film crew in there, and they were using cranes and lifts and cameras, and they went up with the cameras and photographed all the engravings and stuff there, depictions of the battle scene and all this shit. And there's no crosses on any shields, but there's images of Apollo and the sea. The pagan gods are up there. Watch it, you'll love it. It's on there. Just
I know.
Google
just just Google it.
It's 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes
I know,
long.
but here's the deal. Here's the humanity that I am. Okay, I hear you say. Let's say we're gonna talk. Like I've been on streaming now for 2 hours almost. Okay, so how many people have said to me, just Google, and I said, okay. At the end, when I'm done, I don't remember one thing that I got to Google. So links would be preferable.
Well, okay. Well, I got to get back.
Or messages of some reminders of some sort. I have to.
Okay, when I go to your YouTube channel,
yes,
there's those different tabs, and there's one called Discussions. And every time I click on Discussions, there's never anything there. But apparently, if I put something in there, you will see it.
Hold on. Let me go to my YouTube channel.
Let me open another
and
screen
see
here.
What the hell you're talking about.
Sidney Winston. YouTube. Here's Sidney Winston. Yeah. Home, videos, playlists, channels, and then discussion. Okay, there's one. Oh, there's some for me. Hey. Yeah, there's two. And Ryan Penzick.
Okay, hold on a second. Maybe it's possible that I don't. check these things.
It says 9 comments. Yeah, 9 comments. Mine's 5 days ago, 2 months ago, and Ryan, somebody 1 week ago, and I don't know where the other 9 are.
Okay,
Oh,
hold on.
they're sub.
Oh, you know what?
replies.
You might be able. Maybe you need to organize them by new instead of like top rated or whatever. New. Yeah.
Well, there's only 9 of them at this point, and I don't see anything about that. But it's under discussion,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Sorry,
and you
I'm
can
gonna go.
add a public comment.
I'm gonna go there right now and see what the
Hey,
hell.
Ken Hovind convicted. Yeah, I sent you one. Hey, Kent Hovind was convicted of spiritual wife beating. He got 30 days on this plea bargain.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I certainly did.
This is recent.
Yeah.
Okay. I put spiritual wife beating because she's not really his wife. Turns out she wasn't his wife.
It's his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend.
Yes, spiritual wife.
No, well, ex-girlfriend is what we
Okay.
say in up in the rational Republic of Canada.
It's just
Okay,
about my
so
own usage.
okay, so hold on a second. My computer, as you know, is steam powered, so it's a little slow.
Do you need a better computer? I've got extras.
Are you kidding me? I bought this about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have an extra one. It's a Z77 chipset, so it's from about 2012, but it snaps, crackles, and pops. I just had to upgrade to a different system to get DaVinci Resolve.
Okay, so I see 9 comments. And
Okay.
then it says sort by.
Where does it say that?
Right next to where it says 9 comments.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sort by.
And then check
Top comments and newest first. Okay, newest first. And there I am.
There you go.
And then there's
everybody.
And 2 replies.
Everybody. What?
And then a week ago, Ryan Penzick. Here's my link.
That's right. That's right.
So there's his link. And then me again. When's your next live stream, Mr. W? And view the reply. Oh, today sometime, probably around evenings. Okay, so you did reply to it. Okay, so I can send you a link. I'll find this YouTube thing and I'll pop it in here.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
I don't know if I even get notified for a discussion. I gotta check it more often.
Yeah, maybe something you need to turn on.
It's something I need to exactly a setting.
Yeah, I used to teach computer skills to behavioral health recipients, and they kept wanting me to do everything for them, and I would refuse. I said, "You have to Google it." So a lot of people left. They didn't like that. But go ahead. But I'll put that in there. Let me find it now. As a matter of fact, let me see. I can find it in my YouTube history on my Fire Stick.
DB Cisco says that Constantine's mother was an Arian Christian, as was his son. And I do believe that Constantine was an Arian, but he didn't impose his Arian views at the Council of Nicaea. He just let the bishops basically make the choice. As long as somebody came up with a choice of one religion, which would be the Orthodox religion, that's all he cared about.
Hey, I'm looking at this one you posted, 92 views. Witness to the adultery and divorce of Darth Dawkins, 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of somebody holding a baby.
Yeah.
Is that picture of Gary?
Absolutely.
That's the only one.
It's the only one I know that exists.
Do you know how old it is?
It's very old, decades.
God, he must be a mess now. Okay. Okay, well, I got to get a screenshot of that. But it's not included in the body of the content. It just shows as a thumbnail.
It's just it's the cover image on YouTube.
Well, I'll tell you why don't you send it to me? It's the cover. Yeah, where'd you get the image?
Off of social media somewhere. I can't even remember. I had a long.
I looked and looked, couldn't find any photos of them.
Yeah, well, I'm just uber curious, and I just look because I am so fucking obstinate and stubborn. And I look.
Well, we'll use that photo as the avatar of our created atheist. There we go.
There you go. We've created
Yeah,
one.
that'll work.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And I predict that once we've created an atheist out of Gary Milne, he
Yes, a
will
champion.
he will reveal his visual identity. He'll turn his fucking camera on.
We will take Darth down with a single slingshot.
No, we'll build him up because he's a very angry man. I don't mean to take him down at all. I mean to relieve him of his Christian pain and to build him up as a positive atheist.
Okay, here it is. Emperor Constantine is Western Christianity based on a lie. Parable-religious history documentaries. 551,000 views. And it's well done. It's well done. You may want to check it out. No, I'm going to have to. You want a link? I can't just give you the title. Let's see, how am I going to find a link? I'm
Don't
looking
worry
at my
about
phone.
it. Just relax. Anxiety is something that I've had to conquer. So and it's not a nice thing to have to live with. So
well, that's another reason how God does not exist. I was going to tell Darth is because there's nothing really to fear. The only reason we have a concept of God is because we're scared out of our wits. When man became self-aware of his mortality, it drove him insane. Okay, Emperor Constantine is Western Christianity.
don't you think that Aryan Christianity makes more sense than Orthodox Christianity anyway?
I don't know the difference, sir.
It's really simple. It's really simple. Okay, so Orthodox Christianity is with the Trinity, God and the Son of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, without a name, is one and the same. Okay? Got it? You understand?
No, I don't understand that either, but yeah,
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, well, I'm going to repeat it to you once again. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And it's not to be questioned because this is orthodoxy. God, the Father, Jesus Christ, the Son, and the unnamed Holy Spirit are one and the same. Okay? If you disagree with me, I'm going to give you a whipping.
That is certainly not a controversial statement.
Okay, all right. So now, there we have Arianism. And Arianism goes this way. God is eternal. Then came Jesus, who is above humans. And then there's the unnamed Holy Spirit. So the Arianism is basically this. There was a time when Jesus was not. And the Orthodox says like Jesus and God are all kind of the same. There's the difference, essentially. You see? It's like two different mythologies.
Neither of which I buy into.
Of course not.
Okay.
Nonsense.
Well, that which occurs cannot have not occurred. Therefore, there's the first prerequisite about something being eternal. That which occurs could not have occurred in any other way. And non-occurrence is nothing. So when you think about it, when you tap your finger on a table, the tapping occurs. But before occurring, it was nothing. So it is something coming from nothing. We are surrounded by something. We're surrounded by something coming from nothing. Now, there's causality. We use our finger and we hit the table, but the tap in its abstract descriptive essence is something that came from nothing. Everything is nothing before it occurs.
Bill, you're scaring me.
I learned that when I was caught shoplifting pencils as a kid at Circle K. And they called my mom at home and told me. And I knew as I was walking home that when my dad got home, I'd have to answer for it. So the whole way home, I was praying to God, please let this have not happened. It didn't work out.
Well, you know what? I want to commend you on your fine effort.
Yes. Happens a lot, though. It's because that actuality has become quite mundane. I've become habituated to it. This Darth Ariana said, I was talking about this occurrence. He says, oh, that stuff's boring. He says it's boring.
So why do you think that Darth Dawkins
Yeah.
only appears on the Discord platform?
Only does?
Well, where else do you see him?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, he used to be on Hangouts on this platform all the time. This is the original Hangouts platform, but
I see.
it's just been revamped, and it's way more 2021.
Was he able to usurp all these mod privileges on the Hangouts?
Well, no, that's because
Okay, because
he didn't have universal control like he does on Discord. That's why he left. That's why he left Hangouts.
and that's
Partly.
why he said Discord. 'Cause
And
he
also,
can
on Discord, on Hangouts like this, on Hangouts like this, there was more of an older crowd, and we all called out his bullshit. On Discord, there's the teenagers.
There are hope, though. There are hope for the future. Even Hitler said,
Yeah, but
Get
very
the youth,
few.
get the young ones first, the Hitler youth, and all that.
Yeah.
My scant reading on Hitler was it's very important to get the young ones. So
Yeah, exactly. It's always if you get the young ones in pretty much anything you're trying to educate them in. Even if you like in my case, they got me young and they totally prevented religion and God from becoming part of my knowledge base until I was 12 years old.
and with me, it was I was never God. My mom was a Holocaust survivor, and she had us watch all the documentaries whenever they came on in the early '60s.
Mhm.
You know, and she said we must never forget. And then as she was watching them with us, she would start to cry, and she says, "That's all my cousins and aunts and uncles."
Mhm.
And then before the show was over, there was always, "Where was God?"
Well, what's the answer?
So, well, he was nowhere useful.
Does your mother still believe in God and she just didn't know where God was, or she says God's a crock?
No, she passed away about 5 years ago. It's 96, but she had an
Oh,
experience.
what a great innings!
Yeah, she had an experience where she saw Jesus. She said she saw Jesus appear to her, but it was also her. It was her husband. My dad died in '75, so she was a widow for most of the rest of her life. But so she saw Jesus. It was Jesus, but then she saw it was also the face of her husband. So
Well, flashbacks aren't that rare in people's lives. I've been having flashbacks of certain things all my life,
yeah.
but I've never treated them as anything else other than just flashbacks.
Do you have an earliest memory that you can access? You can call up a visual scene or at
Yes,
least one.
yes. The earliest memory I have is when I was still on the bottle.
Wow, that's an early one.
Yeah, that would have had to have been under 2 years of age.
I was talking to this little kid once, and he was telling me that he remembered being in the womb. He remembered floating around. He said,
I've heard people tell me those stories.
and kicking at that cord thing, kicking at the cord thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I looked at him, because I took it serious, and I realized he probably saw some sort of documentary, some information about it, or picture of
Mhm.
them and stuff.
Frank
But
White, Frank White, welcome.
uh-oh,
What? Uh-oh. He's a
hi
he's
Frank.
he's a regular. He's very welcome.
Oh, really?
International
Yeah.
call-in
He hung
or
up.
asked to join. So this is a call-in show.
It's a call in, and anybody, and you can. There's a number to call from anywhere, any country in the world. There's the link is in the description.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if I can ask anything, an atheist. Are you an atheist, Bill?
Yowza.
You're an atheist?
Yowza hard.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, he's a
I
hard atheist.
I have a theory going, and it hasn't been proven wrong, that atheists are not men. If are you married, Bill?
I'm not. I can't provide personal information like that.
Okay. If you were
My
married,
wife would kick my ass if I told her.
okay, if you were married and your wife came home and said, "Honey, I am 2 months pregnant and I want to have an abortion," what would be your response?
That's your choice.
Thank you for proving my theory to be correct.
Okay. How's that working for you?
I'm
Not
sorry,
yet.
what was that?
Now it's you're possessed of the theoretical proof of the non-manhood of men who respect the individual's right to choose.
To choose to kill your own son.
No, for her to terminate a pregnancy.
Right. You're a child. Yeah, that's in her womb.
Well, I tell you, if she has a miscarriage, I'll kick her ass. How's that for a man?
Well, that wasn't her fault.
Oh, but
We're
I'm a
talking
man.
about
Oh, sure, it's
giving-
her fault.
right.
She
Yeah,
didn't-
you bring God into the picture because you can't be a man to stand up for your own son that you allowed a woman to kill. So now you want to put God into the picture.
I never said nothing about
Yeah.
God. I said I'd kick her
All right,
ass.
that's all I had. I guess I'll see
Yeah,
you guys
you sure
next
hear
time.
what you like to hear. You love to hear what you like to hear.
Well, you brought God into the picture. No one mentioned
When
God.
did I say God? When did I say God?
So what are you bringing up miscarriages for? That's no
What's that
one's
got to do
fault.
with God? Sure it is.
Whose fault is a miscarriage?
The metabolism of the mother.
Okay, that happens.
You want
We're
to
not
call that a
talking
fault?
about it in. We're not talking about an act of.
You're
We're
talking
talking
about
about an
something
act of
you want to
volition.
happen.
We're not talking about an act that you have no control over.
Well, that's not what fault is.
So
Fault.
no one. So she
Fault.
didn't make the conscious decision to have a miscarriage.
Fault
She did
is
make the conscious decision to have an abortion, and you are on board with that. You are on board with the right for a woman to even kill your own children. To me, that's not a man.
okay. I have to confess to you, I was being ingenuous. I was trying to be sarcastic. Sometimes it doesn't translate well. If my wife had a miscarriage, I would try to support her recovery, her physical recovery, and her ability to mentally deal with it. Okay,
Mentally deal with having your son.
with having lost the child.
Okay, well, we're talking about her terminating the pregnancy purposely, saying, "I don't want to have this child."
Yes,
You
and
would be on board with that.
I would help her deal with the ramifications of that mentally and emotionally and even physically, possibly, if that was her choice.
You would drive her to the clinic.
Yes.
Wow. Well, we're living in the last days, Saints. If they're already in the chat list.
Oh, yes. There you go. There's a real sequitur.
What about you, Sydney?
The
I would
last
collect a
days,
bounty.
you say
I would drive her to the clinic and then I'd collect a bounty on her.
yeah.
Well,
What
yeah.
did you
Allow
say,
a woman to kill your own son.
Frank?
Yeah.
What
Frank,
about you, Sydney?
Frank, you said something about the last days. Is this the
Yeah.
same last
Yeah.
days that we've been hearing for the last 2,000 years?
Well, this is ask an atheist anything. I'm
Oh.
asking atheists anything.
Right.
Oh,
but
I'm not speaking for
you said
atheists.
you said
for
last
myself.
days. No, he's actually talking to me.
Well, for every atheist you meet, there's a different type of atheism. So
That's atheistic racism, sir.
there's more atheist religions than
atheist
there are
racist.
Christian or denominations than there are Christian.
You're an atheist racist.
But what about you, Sydney? Your wife comes home, she's 2 months pregnant.
Well, where's she been for the last fucking 2 months?
Has a heartbeat. That's why I picked 2 months.
Where has she been for the last 2 months?
What's that?
I'd want to know where she's been for the last 2 months. You can't just come home and say I'm 2 months pregnant after not being here for 2 months.
Well, she just found out. You know,
No, you
or
don't find out at 2
maybe she
months.
knew
I'm
and
sorry.
didn't tell you.
You don't find out at 2 months.
But
You start
find
throwing
out
up.
that-
You start throwing up, and then you find out whenever it is. It's not 2 months.
Okay, let me push the envelope. 6 months.
What about
Bill,
it?
6 months.
Okay, here's
do
the
you
thing.
say?
Here's the thing.
Do you at least try to convince her?
Listen.
Otherwise, I
listen.
mean, I know you got to beg,
Can
get
I-
on your hands
can-
and knees and beg these women
Can I
nowadays.
answer the question?
Not my wife, but
Can I?
these
Do
beta
I have?
male
Is
liberals.
my audio
Yeah, go ahead,
working?
I'm sorry.
Is my audio working? I'm not quite
I can't
sure.
hear you, Sid.
No, it must be something that's wrong technologically on my side. Anyway, let me say this to Frank White, my guest. A woman's health, and a man's health. My health is between me and my doctor, and any woman's health is between the woman and her doctor. End of story. That's my answer.
Okay, the doctor says she's perfectly healthy. The baby is perfectly healthy, and she wants to kill it. What do you say, Sidney? 6
I
months.
told you, it's her body, it's her doctor, it's
No,
her.
the doctor's not even in the picture anymore. The
It's her-
doctor says it's
it's her
okay to have the
decision.
child.
It's her decision.
So it's her decision to
it's
kill your
her-
son.
It's her decision. It's her
At 6
decision. No,
months.
it's not her decision to kill a son. It's her decision about what
It's
she
a boy.
does to her body.
It's a boy. It's a boy.
You don't know that.
6 months.
You don't know
we do
that.
know that
Well,
because we've seen the pictures.
if you're gonna make up stuff,
You can
then
tell
I'm
the
gonna
sex of
make
the
up.
baby.
Then I'm gonna make up the reaction.
Well, I'm giving the hypothetical here. It's my turn
No,
to ask an atheist anything.
that is that.
So this is the hypothetical. You know
I
the sex
answered
of the
you. I
child.
told you. I answered you.
You would allow her to kill.
It's between a woman and her doctor.
The doctor's already said it's okay.
It's
Stop
between.
blaming it on another man and be a man and stand up for yourself and your child.
It is
Stop
between
blaming
the
it on
woman.
another man
Listen,
and be a man and
stopping
stand
a
up
child-
for yourself and your
stopping-
child.
Stop
Frank's
over.
getting
Stop.
ready to run.
Stop. Okay, run away because you're
doctor-
over talking
doctor.
me before I have to lower your
The
volume.
doctor told me to do it. The doctor told her to do it. Aren't you a
Okay.
man?
All right, have your little tantrum and then finish up.
Aren't you a man?
Let me tell you about man. Poor man want to be rich. Rich man want to be king. King ain't satisfied till he rules everything. I'm going to go out tonight and find out what I got.
Atta boy, Bill.
So
you
you
tell
as
him.
a man,
You tell him, Bill. You tell him. You
Say-
tell him. Bill, he's treating you. He's telling you that you're not a man. I want you. I want you to make sure that he's not lying, because I'm a very skeptical person.
Well, I want to caution anybody who wants to insult me or hit me. If you hit me, I'll probably start crying.
Exactly.
So let me get
and
this
and
straight, Sidney.
I will defend myself with my purse.
yeah, that's what you should be carrying.
That's
after
right.
saying what you're saying.
And
about
my
not
purse, I
defending
will.
your own children.
And I will slap your face.
Not defending
I will slap your
children.
face if you try and take my purse away from me.
Yeah,
And
will
if
real
you
men
snatch
defend
my
women?
purse, I'll scratch your eyes out.
Yeah, real men defend women and children, especially the unborn, especially their own children. That's 6 months.
Oh, here
You're not a man.
we're getting a lecture from a Christian.
No.
Here comes
You're not a man.
here comes the Christian. Come
I
on,
just demonstrated
come on,
such.
Christian.
If I do have to knock you out, I will fuck you in the ass.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the type of man you are, I guess. You're certainly not a man that protects your own son.
Age old. I'm an age old man kind of man.
What about 7 months?
Born from the
Sidney,
ancients.
7 months.
Oh, fuck
It's
off.
your son.
Don't
You've seen
be-
the pictures.
don't-
You have the
don't-
sonogram.
Did Jesus
7
walk
months.
on water? Did Jesus walk on water,
Oh,
Joe?
we're deflecting. I
Frank,
thought this
Frank,
was asking
Frank,
atheists.
yeah.
anything.
Well, I answered you. Now that you're being
No,
boring.
I
Now that you're
I-
being boring. Now
I
that you're
changed
being
it to 7
boring.
months.
Now that you're being boring and disrespectful. Did Jesus walk on water?
I changed it to 7 months.
Did Jesus walk on water?
8 months.
Did Jesus actually exist?
You would allow your.
Would-
you wouldn't
did-
have
did
any
Jesus-
protest.
Did Jesus actually exist? Is it because
What about
because
the baseball? What about taking your son to the baseball game?
What
did
does it mean to
Jesus
say we're
exist?
going to have a baby?
Man,
Did
you
Well, I
guys-
Jesus
still say we're
exist?
going to have a baby.
ah,
Did
you
Jesus
guys-
exist? Did
What
Jesus
does
walk
he
on
mean we're
water?
going to have
Do
a
you
baby?
believe, do you
Do
believe in the
women walk on
resurrection?
water?
Do you
Do
believe
women
in
walk on water?
women?
We're
Wo-
going
Because
to
wo-
that's how
have
you're behaving. You're worshiping
Oh
them.
my God! So now the mythology extends with women walking on
oh,
water.
women, you could do anything, even kill my own son. I worship
Oh my God! You're a
you.
very sick man. You know that.
Oh,
You're a
women,
be
very sick
scripting and
man.
being
women,
non-responsive.
where would we be without
Okay,
you?
What if
ask me
the
another
baby
question.
we're
This
going
is
to have a
ridiculous.
baby?
Do
I
women
don't. I
walk on
don't want
water?
to. I do not
Is
want
that
to
why
hear
they
you
have?
sing.
Is that why they have the right to murder your own son? Do they walk on water too?
You know,
Hmm.
you are starting to be
I'll see you
annoying.
guys next time.
Yeah, bye bye.
Beta male liberals.
I was just about
Beta.
to ask him to leave in anyway.
Does he really see us?
Does he really see it? He's an
Yes.
idiot. He's an idiot. Look,
He's
this is just it. These people come in here, prove that they're idiots, and then they say, "Okay, I've just proven I'm an idiot. Ciao, Ben. I'll see you later."
he's atheo-racist.
He's just a fucking idiot.
Well, he's got his script, obviously.
No, he's an idiot. He really is an idiot. Did you say he came in here and he filibustered and all he wanted to do was hear his own voice? He's a narcissist.
Yeah.
In the same vein as Darth Dawkins, just with a lower voice.
He was hammering that nail like a spike through Jesus's hand. He was just hammering away.
Yeah, talking about he was probably hammered.
It's strange, atheists are actually the savior of theists to deliver them from their delusion.
Atheists?
Think about it. Atheists are saviors.
Atheists should be up on a pedestal way above theists because theists are the scum of the earth.
Well, don't be a theist racist now.
No, I'm a realist racist.
Do you think Mohandas Gandhi was a scumbag?
Do I think he was a scumbag? Was he a lawyer?
Yeah, but he was
Wow.
also
Okay. Well, then
it's-
I'm gonna let my rhetorical question be my response.
See, that's what I do. I give answers like that, and people think I'm being serious. Like I'd kick my wife's ass if she had a miscarriage, but I wouldn't mind it if she had an
Yeah.
abortion.
Exactly. Listen, when somebody asks you a stupid question like that, as if you and your wife do not have any relationship, you don't have any communication. It's like you're the man. You tell the fucking woman what to do. She doesn't open her mouth, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
This is literally what he sounds like.
Yeah. God told him it's okay.
That's why these people are dangerous. Idiots and stuff, but they're dangerous because they trickle down to only having to the place in Discord. The only audience that have are these little kids who mostly make fun of him, and some of them cotton onto him. So these people are dangerous.
In Texas, I can let her make her own choice, and then I can drive her to the abortion clinic and collect a bounty of $10,000. So if she's going to disobey me, at least I can come out ahead on the deal.
Yeah,
That's my acerbic.
So I
cynicism.
don't think that letting Jill in here accomplished anything positive, and he didn't want to respect the room. Well, not so much respect the room, but respect the rules of discussion. So I'm not
You
sure
called
if
him
I'm.
Jill? You called him Jill?
That's what he's calling himself or that's what people are calling him in the side chat.
Oh, I thought he was Frank White.
Yeah, well, Frank White. I suppose I should say Frank White. If Frank White but then again, he might come under his regular. But anyway, whatever. Frank White, I don't believe will be admitted into the chat because he really is disingenuous. He has a script that he enters here with, and he doesn't allow the conversation to flow back and forth. It's his it's his way or the highway.
I'm going to call up the side chat now on my Fire Stick and then mute the sound so I can read these side chats. Is the side chats indicating support for Frank, or are they?
Well, let me just say, DB Cisco says Jill, or he says Frank White is a moron. Let's see. Oh, Quasar said he's an armchair dictator.
Okay, let me get this going.
I believe this is what I think what should happen. Okay, here. Frank White. This is what I believe. This is what I believe. I believe that Frank White is entitled to, and I recommend that Frank White, through his entitlement, should receive a retroactive abortion to usually, but to the time he was
Conceived.
no, to the time when he was a zygote.
There it is.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, I was trying to ask him, what does it mean when she says, I'm going to have a baby?
I'm gonna have a zygote.
Yeah, when I'm going to have a baby means the
No.
baby gets born and you have a baby.
Honey,
Honey,
we have a zygote. It's like those caterpillars
You're gonna have-
who turn into
gonna have
moths
an embryo.
eventually. Zygote turns into a
I'm going to
human.
have a blastosphere.
Yeah.
So a baby is what poots out, and then you both have it once it's in this world.
These Christians and they oh my God, you kill a human being if they're in the womb. You know, they are so insane.
Murder.
So insane. But you know, they're also very quick to cast out into the tundra anybody who doesn't believe or follow Jesus.
Yeah.
They don't
After
care
you're
what
born,
happens.
you're on
It's like, we don't care if you're gay, we'll throw you off the building. We don't care. We don't care if gays die. You know, like Mr. Batman. He doesn't care. 2% of the world is gay. We don't know who's going to miss 2% of the world if we just kill them all.
Mr. Batman.
Yeah. See, this is the way they think. They're cold-hearted and callous. They're cruel, and they're all sadistic. That's Christianity, ladies and gentlemen.
You're preaching to the choir, brah.
I want you all to join. I want you all to go find a denomination that is comfortable for you, and give your tithing to Jesus, and He'll look after you. And so will the potato that I pray to every day, by the way, will also look after you just as much. Now, the thing about the potato that I pray to, sometimes my potato answers my prayers. Mostly, there's like no response, I must say. But every now and again, I get a prayer, a positive response from the potato that I pray to. Bill, I tell you, this is true. I tell you verily, this is true. How do they say it in Galatians? Let me look it up.
Sidney, are you a rocker or a mod?
Rocker, what the fuck is that?
It's the question they once asked the great Oracle Ringo. He said, I'm a mocker.
I'm a mocker. Okay. It's funny.
Or maybe George Harrison said that. He was always more profound spiritually.
Yes. You know what? Do you think
George
God
Harrison.
predestined John Lennon to be shot at the age of 40?
No, sir. Do you think that George Harrison was a scumbag?
No, sir.
Okay. So he gets a pass, even though he was way out there on God stuff.
George Harrison?
Wasn't he?
Not that I
God was
know.
Brahma. George Harrison, yeah, he was the Krishna.
Yeah, they
The
were.
heart.
They did. Yeah, but that's the transcendental, and they learned to play the sitar and in Indian music and whatnot. And yes,
Yeah.
they probably. But even
But Harrison really took it up. He was the rest
yeah,
of his life.
okay,
He was-
maybe yes, very possible. But still, you kept it private, I guess, because I know very little about it other than what you just mentioned and
Okay.
what is commonly known.
He was a beautiful, beautiful person, and that's why I just ask you to govern your tongue, calling theistic people scumbags. Now, Frank White is a scumbag.
I don't call theistic people scumbags willy-nilly. When I talk about theistic people, I talk specifically to those in this community that either hear me say it or hear it from somebody else that I said it, because what Sidney Winston says there is a small community that'll find out about it, and that community will comprise of theists, and hopefully one of them will be Darth Dawkins.
He's on your bucket list too, huh? Have you ever talked to him?
Yeah, we used to talk. We used to get along fine when he first came on Hangouts. We got along fine. We actually were respectful to each other. There were many people coming into Hangouts at the time, and he turned toxic.
It just goes to show you never know what someone's really thinking about you.
Listen, most people don't know what they think about themselves, so don't worry about it.
I say some people lie, some tell the truth, but most people do what they just want to do.
Yeah, you could pretty much. That's like the bell curve of humanity.
Yeah. Well, I write lyrics for songs. I may be coming out with some stuff on Reverb Nation soon. I've already got stuff on Reverb Nation soon.
Really?
Yeah, it's under Bill Pazdu.
Well,
Bill Pazdu has some tracks.
Does Bill Pazdu do honorariums?
I don't know what that is.
Basically, do you do stuff for free?
Yeah, I post it all up there. None of it's monetized. I just stick it up there. It's mostly demo stuff from a couple 10, 15 years ago.
Oh no, I'm looking for like intro and outro lyrics.
Oh, you want a theme? Oh yeah, I do stuff like that, but I wouldn't charge you for it.
Give it your best shot.
I'm working on one for Matt Dillahunty. He's bad, Matt Dillahunty, the most surgical skeptic in the whole damn country. He's the king of Donkey Kong at the AC of Austin.
Oh, you don't know me that well.
I don't know you. That's why I couldn't write about you.
Right.
Sir Winston, Sir Sidney Winston.
Yeah,
it would have to be a herald. It would have to be a.
You can make up shit, right? Exactly.
A medieval herald.
Go for it.
Well, give me some time. I have to be in the mood.
I'll pay you double.
Yeah.
I'll pay you double to do it when you're only do it when you're in the mood.
There it is.
How's that?
Okie dokie.
Okay.
I think it's getting late for me though. I'm gonna run along.
I was just gonna say, but it's not getting late for somebody in the world. Just before you leave, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining, because you made it. You made the whole thing kind of complete. Thank you.
I thank you for perking it.
But I want to ask you, as an exit interview, what do you think of the concept of doing this, and why didn't more people join in? Do you think?
Man, I posted a song called Turn, 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 Turn Out, Get to the Polls, or Baby We'll Get the Poll Again for the last election.
Yeah.
And I even paid to have it like put on iTunes and stuff, and no one ever heard it. Getting stuff out there.
Tough.
There you can Google and they'll tell you how to get your stuff distributed with metadata, how to get hits and stuff. But it's you have to. There has to be some sort of scandal. I would think that you could use that image of Darth Dawkins. Everybody's looking for pictures of Darth Dawkins. If there's some way you could use that in some sort of scandalous, scurrilous way, you might get hits.
Okay, here's my dilemma. Okay, I put the blurred image and everything, like, so it could be really anybody. Okay, I blurred it as much as I could.
Oh, you got sharper?
Yeah, but I blurred it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's not a picture of Darth Dawkins. That's a picture of Gary Milne or Gary Milne. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about Gary Milne, but the fact that Darth Dawkins is so upset about me saying things about a person called Gary Milne, you know,
How the
basically
fuck do you think? How the fuck do you think? What's his name? Dr. Dawkins. William Dawkins. Is it William Dawkins?
Richard Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins. How do you think he feels about this fucking clown putting his face on there like that?
It's unethical. It's disrespectful. It's discourteous. It's unchristian. It's anti-social. It's treasonous, and he should be hanged.
Turnaround is fair play, brother. We are amoral atheists. All's fair in love and YouTube wars.
Yeah. Well, it's all fun until somebody loses an eye.
Or hires a lawyer.
Well, the thing about this is another thing about Darth Dawkins and his big mouth. If he hires a lawyer, then we find out exactly who he is, where he lives, what his name is, and on and on and on. He loses all anonymity as soon as he hires a lawyer.
Wow.
So yeah, go for it, Mister Milne.
It could backfire though. Once freed of his need for an avatar, the actual Gary Milne could become an internet viral sensation.
Yeah, because Sidney Winston created an atheist.
Like when Kiss took off their masks and they were bigger than ever.
Okay, yeah, I think I'll call it a segment. The next time I'll start with episode 3, I guess.
One last question.
Yeah.
Will this conversation we just had be part of a clip that I can look at later?
Well, it's live. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes in, but it will be online that you can either
download it. Yeah,
either download it or just scrub through it.
Yeah. Well, like with Spatchcock, he has a session, then he goes after he ends the session, but he goes to a chat afterwards. And so when I try to go back to see what I in the other room, it ends at where he ends. And Jump does that. It ends right where the show ends, and the extra conversation doesn't get recorded.
Oh, I see. No,
this will be full. I've got to edit you to get all sorts of clips out there.
Okay, you can do what you like, but when you leave and I call it, because this is what I'm trying to do, Bill. I'm trying to say 10 o'clock at night should be sort of my cutoff. Okay, so it's 10:41, so I can call it a night, no big deal. If I happen to wake up early, for example, and I'm refreshed, I've walked my dog and showered and whatever, and it's only 6 o'clock in the morning, then I can start another room, and that could bring in Europe, who's just starting the evening. It'll just be depend.
Well, I'm always looking for you, and I try to get in there when I can. So that's I'll be back.
It's much appreciated, man.
Yeah, but I want to get that section with Frank White. I want to listen to that again. So.
Oh yeah. That's all of it's going to be all available right away.
Okay.
All right, dude.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Sleep. Bye-bye. always